T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Movies and Beyond. Once again, I am Michael, and today it's Sunday. How you doing today, Mad Matt?
I'm doing great, Michael. Thank you for asking, buddy. It is Sunday. I love Sundays. I love talking horror with you fine people. I'm doing great.
We got kind of a special show today with a special guest today. What are we doing today, Matt? What are we watching today?
It's me, Billy, and this is a fan film I'm very excited to see. I just recently watched the original Black Christmas for the first time. And so from what I've heard, It's Me, Billy is a continuation.
It is a continuation.
A fan film continuation of the original. So, yeah, man, I'm on board. I'm stoked. We absolutely have an amazing guest. I'll let you announce. And we go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue, sir.
I'll say, and we also have a raffle, ladies and gentlemen. We are having a raffle because I love you guys. I want to show my appreciation. This is straight from Mad Matt's Mask. And everyone this evening who is in the chat, if, just to make sure, if your name does not, pop right up, if you're something else, Herbert West understory, whatever it is, make sure if you're in the chat, let us know, type out your name. We're going to put your name in a raffle. At the end of the show, we're going to draw out 2 winners. The top prize gets a 1978 Trick or Treat Studios Michael Myers mask. Second place winner is going to get a Halloween Ends Trick or Treat Studios mask. And these masks are nice, guys. So just, we want to show our appreciation. You guys are awesome. So like I said, just make sure we get your name. If you're in the chat, you enter and we'll draw it at the end of the show and we'll see who wins. It's cool. So I'm excited.
So is Teresa going to keep track of that for us?
She will.
Okay.
She will. Absolutely.
So excellent. Teresa, thank you so much for doing this. That's Mad Mom, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. She's going to keep track of that. Real quick, before I announce our guest, I want to give a little special shout out to my Patreon people. So if you want to support the channel, it's very easy to do. You can go to www.patreon.com/moviesandbeyond. There's a whole nother section of content that I put up on there, and we've been having a blast. But I do want to give a little shout out to my Patreon members. So here that is. I definitely want to thank all my Patreon people, and I definitely wanted to do, something for you guys, because I am very appreciative of you guys being Patreon members. And if you would like to get your name on that list, you know how to do it. Sign up for Patreon. You won't regret it. It's great content. But I will stop running my mouth
I
about
dig
all
that
of that.
music, Michael. Where'd you find that? Like I was jamming, man.
Let's just say that I can play it without getting dinged copyright wise. So that is for my Patreon people.
I was digging it.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. But without any further ado, I would like to introduce our guest that we have tonight. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know who it is. Pretty much, if you like Halloween, you know about It's Me, Billy. If you've been following Dylan's New Nightmare, you know who this gentleman is. And I want to welcome him to the channel from both me and Matt, Mr. Dave McRae. What's up, Dave? Welcome to Movies and Beyond.
Hey, everybody. Doing well. Mike and Matt, thanks for having me on. It's good to be here.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Happy to have you here, sir. Happy to have you here. Especially watching It's Me, Billy, because fan films is something that we like to promote on the channel. We don't feel like enough people get enough recognition for the fan films that they do. So we're trying to show that, to a bigger audience, and man, we have a blast with them.
Amazing. That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you doing this. It means a lot. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And they're even fairly new to myself. I'll be honest. And I'd say I've been watching fan films for a year and a half, maybe. I mean, fairly new. And daggone it, are there some good ones out there, man? I just had no idea. And it's amazing. So
yeah, it's certainly over the last, I would say, 5 years or so, there are definitely there's starting to become a sort of separation in the world of fan films. And fan films, by definition, are made by fans. And generally speaking, there's a stigma that surrounds it. And sometimes for good reason, that it's the way I always like to describe it, although this is a little surface level, it's probably more nuanced than this, but is friends hanging out in your backyard shooting something on your phone, you know what I mean? And for many, many years, that is what a fan film was. It's your friends, you're hanging out, you're having fun. And then of course, over the last few years, like I said, 5 or 6 years or so, there are fans who are also filmmakers who are stepping up and taking it very seriously. So you start to see sort of a separation, whereas many years ago, it was 99% that all fan films were, amateur home movie kind of stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great. But now you're seeing sort of that separation where there are some that are becoming legit indie films because they are, created by filmmakers who get, the backing, who either maybe they work in the industry or they know people who work in the industry, and they, have those connections. So, so you're really seeing sort of a tier, a separation in that regard. And a perfect example of that would be Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, what Vince is doing now with Never Hike Alone 2, of course, what we're doing with It's Me, Billy Chapter 2, what Cecil's done with Dylan's New Nightmare. These were people who work I've spent 22 years in the entertainment industry. So they are fan films for sure, because we don't own the intellectual property. So we can't make money off of it. They are for free for everybody to enjoy. But we go about them as if we did own the IP, as if it was something we made up. So, they are, real movies, if you will, but
and
they have
shows, man,
fan film stamp on them because we have to do that. So it's cool. And they're great portfolio pieces. Like sometimes, people will ask, well, why would you do that? Well, because we get to play in a sandbox that, we ordinarily wouldn't get to play in. And because we're taking them seriously and, as if we're shooting, something else, that's completely original. There's a certain level of professionalism and production value that comes with that we can actually use them as portfolio pieces, as calling cards. Nice. And It's Me, Billy Chapter 1 actually opened a couple of doors for us in that regard with
awesome.
with a studio. So you know, it's you know, yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of work, you know, a lot of work, but yeah, fan films can be really, really cool for sure. And again, at all different, you know, tiers. I mean, you know, you don't have to, there's what we're doing, of course, but there's some great ones that are done by, you know, people in their backyards, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that can be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's
I,
cool.
I seem to remember a fan film quite a few years ago of a Dave McRae fan film with Michael Myers in an apartment. And the thing that I remember the most about that was I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love Halloween. They're neck and neck for me.
Sure.
But I seem to remember Crispin Glover getting a cameo on TV for Friday the 13th 4.
That's correct. Yeah, that was I was hanging out with my buddy Bruce, who's my best friend. I've known him for 31 years.
Yeah.
And he's my co-writer, co-director, and co-producer on the It's Me Billy films. And he works in the industry as well. And we were hanging out at his I think this is September of 2018 or something like that. It was just before Halloween 18 came out, and I was hanging out at his place. And we decided to were we over here? I can't remember now. Anyway, we decided to shoot this. We were like, you know, Michael's never been in an apartment, you know, apartment building, right? We're like, well, that sounds fun. So we just decided, spur of the moment, available lighting, you know, just using what we could, testing our skills. We shot this little fan film called Haddonfield Reaper. Yeah. And it was shot on the Galaxy S9. So it was shot on a cell phone, all of it. And but I took it home and I put in the editing software and, you know, polish it up a little bit, make it a little look, you know, a little somewhat kind of consumer pro. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to shoot. But I like doing things like that.
The thing I liked so much about that was it was different. That's what caught my eye with it. It was just, I think that I was skimming through fan films because I always enjoyed fan films, you know, whether, like you said, they're in the backyard and, you know, somebody doesn't have a nice knife, they have a stick instead, you know, I don't care. I'm probably going to check it out.
Sure.
And that, the thing that stuck with me so much about that one was I thought how cool it was. And I feel bad because I haven't shown it, you know, to my viewers yet, or to our viewers on here yet. But the thing that I thought that was such a cool idea about it was when I think it was Bruce was on a Skype call and Michael was behind him.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that was your voice that was like, hey, who's that behind you?
It was me, and I was also Michael. So it was just the two of us. And
awesome.
Of course the audio, you know, from, you know, the Skype call and the boop, 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 that's all added in post, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fun to do that. And it was different, like you said. And we just wanted to do something. We shot it in like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours. And I took it home. I edited over the weekend, and then I released it on like, you know, the Monday or something. I can't remember, but it was something like that. And we like doing that sometime. Well, not now, of course. Now we've sort of upped the ante now. We don't want to go back. But for that, we did that. And then, of course, you know, his friends come over and you hear them in the background. Hey, what's going on? It's just me. I mean, they're all me. And then he's by the shower curtain. And then there's Michael. And, you know, yeah, it was fun. It was a fun little thing to do. It was a lot of fun, actually. I should watch that again. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while for me too, but it's one that always popped in my head because it was so unique.
Yes.
You know? So
yeah. Appreciate that.
But yeah, definitely. So real quick, I'm going to run the intro here in a minute, and I want to give a big blanket hello to everyone in the chat. We got to talking and everything, and you guys are always so awesome with the conversations and saying hello and everything. And we got a little distracted in the back prior to coming out. Halloween may have came up. You know, we had Dave McRae in there and talking a little bit about Halloween, and it's like, oh, we need to go out there. It's past 8 o'clock. But I want to give a giant blanket hello to everyone, and make sure that you guys are giving your name to Teresa for this raffle tonight, because it's so awesome that Matt donated this, you know, for this show tonight. I mean, that's Matt, dude. Seriously, you guys are freaking awesome for that.
Oh man, we've got great people in here, man, and yeah, happy to do it. One thing I did want to say, I don't want it to go unnoticed, that is amazing about fan films is also, like, if it's our boy and we haven't seen him on the screen for say 7 or 8 years, it is so great to be able to go, hey, let's check out this Friday the 13th fan film and at least get me a little bit of, you know, some Jason action, or, you know, whether it's Michael, like, that's actually why I started tuning into them. It's like, man, I miss my Michael or whatever. But yeah, it's awesome. I just wanted to add that. It's something I thought
for sure.
about.
How do you think I feel as a Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
You know,
man.
when Never Hike Alone came out, it was just like, oh my God, this is freaking awesome. You know, and I get to see Jason, you know, running around.
Gives us a it's awesome. So
it is something that I would like to do, but it does sound like you were saying, it is very time consuming. You know what I mean? But it just seems so fun.
It is. It all depends on the level that, you know, you're working at as well, right? You know what I mean? And when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to what Vince has done and what we're doing with, or what we did with Billy Chapter 1, now what we're doing with Chapter 2, I mean, we're spearheading a real movie. I mean, you know what I mean? And so, you know, that's why it costs as much as it does, you know, and it's a union production. So we're dealing with SAG and ACTRA and you know, we're dealing with professional actors and crew and locations and production insurance and, you know, equipment rentals. And, you know, I mean, it's a film.
Yeah. It's better you than me. That sounds like
so it is a lot of fun. But it's when you do it at this level, it is a lot of work. But if you love it, if you can't imagine yourself doing anything else, then it's that saying that you know, it's not work if you love it, right? You know what I mean? So
we should stay in the backyard for now, Michael.
I'll get my stick ready. You get your Michael mask ready, man.
Hey man, it's totally true. Everybody's got a movie camera in their pocket now. You know what I mean? So there's no excuses anymore, man.
That is true. Oh God, Matt, I can only picture what we'd come up with. Oh God.
That's why when somebody flips shit at McDonald's, you know, we can all watch it on YouTube. Everybody's got that camera right there, man.
That's it for sure.
That is true.
Waffle
all right. So let me go ahead and drop everybody out. We'll run this intro and let's get into It's Me, Billy. I'm super excited to do this. I'm a big Black Christmas fan. And I'll talk a little bit about that when we come back going into the show. But it'll be, you know, fantastic to have you here, Dave, to kind of talk us through like certain points. But I do know that we have, like, I've seen It's Me, Billy before. Matt, I don't believe you've seen It's Me, Billy.
I have not.
Okay. And we have quite a few first time watches in the chat too. So I will stay away from spoilers, but definitely excited to get this started.
Do we know who's all in the chat or?
Yeah, I did. We're going on 25 people. That's why I gave a big blanket hello. So when I come back, I'll start getting the comments as we're going through. But
we got great people in here, Dave.
Great. Looks like it. It looks like it. That's great.
Yeah, we do. So let me go ahead and drop us out, run this intro, and we'll get this show started.
Sounds good.
All right.
Jones mess with the wrong melon farmers. Thug life.
And here we go.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, hell.
His death.
Hello, Sydney. Are you ready?
wish I had you all alone, just the two of us.
All right, and we are back. And there are so many people in the chat tonight. Not again, I want to give a blanket hello. We have two of our moderators in the chat currently. We have the General, Val is here, and I definitely want to give a salute to the General because she keeps everything in check, as well as Bipolar, who definitely takes care of everything on that end. And we have awesome mods here. And I do want to give a shout out to a bunch of other people that are here too before we get started. Russell Dorsey's in the chat, as always. And James has entered the chat.
Hello, Russell, James. Good to see you guys.
Definitely. Allison is in the chat. Lydia is in the chat. Mad Mom is in the chat. And I do see a new name. It may be somebody that came with you, Dave. I have not seen this person before, so I definitely want to give them a shout out. Eye Candy LLC is in the chat.
I'm not
what
familiar.
What is going on?
Dad, an actual stick. I need a stick.
Uh-oh. You planning on making that fan film already up there? But we have so many people in the chat, and I definitely want to give a shout out to all of you that are here, and I will do a better job at keeping up with all of your chat. So I do want to get into It's Me, Billy. I want to get started with that. Dave, is there anything from the end of Black Christmas to the beginning of this? Is there anything that we should know ahead of time? Like how many years later is it? Is that in the film itself, or is that something that we
So okay, so I'll just say for those of you that haven't seen it, obviously, this is a Black Christmas fan and tribute film based on the original 1974 Black Christmas. We decided to do this movie because we are, and I say we, myself and my producing partner Bruce, we are obviously Canadian from Toronto. Black Christmas, the original, is a Canadian movie shot in Toronto. It's not supposed to take place in Toronto. I think it's supposed to take place somewhere in the States. But we thought, who better to do it than two Canadians from Toronto? And the original Black Christmas never had a sequel. It had two remakes, one in 2006 and one in 2019. Both were, although I think the 2006 movie is looked upon maybe a little more favorably today because of the 2019 movie, but neither of them were great successes. And so it never spawned a franchise. And it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time, but it's also a product of its time. It's a slow burn, pensive movie, eerie mood, atmosphere, theater of the mind, as I always talk about on my own channel. Yeah. And so when we decided to do a direct sequel and to do it in the ways that we did, in terms of it feeling and looking legit, we set our film 50 years into the future. Okay. So it takes place 50 years later. And at the end of the original Black Christmas, Olivia Hussey, who played Jess Bradford, is pregnant. And she was thinking about having an abortion, but her boyfriend didn't want her to, but she wanted to. And it was a subplot. And she ended up, we don't know what happened to the baby. We don't know if she ended up having the baby or not, or, all that kind of stuff. The movie ends on sort of a mysterious cliffhanger, and that's just the end. There's never been a sequel. So when we were writing It's Me, Billy, we chose to go with the fact that we believe that she did end up having the baby, and that baby also had a baby at some point, which would then be Olivia Hussey, Jess's granddaughter. So that's where we pick up with. We pick up with Jess's granddaughter and her two friends who are driving up into the country to spend one last Christmas Eve at her grandmother's old country mansion. And Sam is dealing with a lot, obviously, but that's where it kind of picks up. It picks up in that sort of space. And it's also important to note that stylistically, we wanted our film to feel like it lived and breathed in the same universe as the original Black Christmas. So from a directing point of view and a writing point of view, Again, we are tapping into that theater of the mind, mood, atmosphere, suspense, slow burn. So it's not a Friday the 13th movie. It's not blood, guts, and gore, wall to wall. It's not cut from the same cloth of storytelling. It's very much that Hitchcock sort of old school, slow burn kind of, you know what I mean? Taking you on this journey. And that's intentional. And yeah, then I won't tell you how it ends or anything because we can talk about that afterwards, but what that all means. But yeah, that's sort of what you need to know. If you've never seen the original Black Christmas, you may be a little lost. Hopefully you'll be able to maybe appreciate it at, you know, on its own. Obviously, if you've seen the original, then obviously it'll make sense to you. But yeah, that's where we are. And if anybody has any questions in the chat room or anything like that, as we're watching along, feel free to pump them out and I'll do my best to answer them.
Sounds good. Right before I get this started, one thing I do want to say about the original Black Christmas when I saw it that absolutely terrified me. I was probably 6, 7 years old when I watched it for the first time. And I had been watching Halloween. You know, I had seen Friday the 13th. And the type of horror that is, you know, it's very, it's hard to say that it's quiet, but Billy was so intense at the end of that movie. I think that's what really scared me as a kid. You know, when he's running down the stairs after, well, first the eyeball in the doorway, you know what I mean? And I'm assuming that's where you got the title of the name, you know.
So yes. So thank you for mentioning that, because if you're not familiar with Black Christmas, and a lot of people aren't, again, because it never spawned a franchise, it never embedded itself into the pop culture zeitgeist in the same ways that Freddy did or Jason or Michael. So it is a very niche sort of film. And It's Me, Billy is not, some people are like, what? It's Me, Billy? What kind of title is that? Well, if you are familiar with the original film, you have to excuse me, I've lost my voice over the last few days. So if you hear me sounding like Marty McFly, that's why. Hey Doc, what's going on? He says that a few times in the movie when he's about to kill Margot Kidder's character. He's walking into the room, you know, and you just see a silhouette. And he's like, it's me, Billy. You know, he says it on the phone, and it's the very last thing that you hear. The very last piece of dialogue in the original film is, "It's me, Billy."
Yeah, that's the one I remember the most. It's
the last thing you hear. So we decided to take that and use that as our sort of title. You know, it's different and it works. And so, but it's not just random. It does, you know, it does have meaning. So yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you what I'm excited for is, Michael, I told you, Dave, I'll be honest, I watched the original Black Christmas for the first time 3 weeks ago.
Amazing.
Okay. 3 weeks ago. And I'm excited for tonight because I actually felt like this was a movie that absolutely qualified for a sequel. Like I wanted more. You know, when the movie was over and we never got that. Like you said, we got remakes, this, that, and the other. So yeah, I'm pumped, man. So I can't wait to see what you've done.
Cool. All right, cool. I can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this together here. Go ahead and share the screen. Get that up there like so. Keep
you got on the Vimeo link, right?
I do. Great quality, by the way.
Yeah, it's just YouTube. I mean, it's fine on there too, but I figured that why not go for the best, right?
You upgraded us, buddy. That's for damn sure.
You know, before you came backstage and Matt and I were talking, I was like, dude, look at the quality of this. It's freaking amazing.
Do you have it set to the highest one?
I do
sometimes
believe I do.
Vimeo will knock you out sometimes. Oh yeah, go up higher. You can go higher than 1080.
Yeah, I feel like we were always watching old VHS.
There you go, 2K. There you go. Yep. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's hope that this works. No, I'm sure.
All right.
All right. So It's Me, Billy. Let's go ahead and check it out. Get this started here. And then let me know too in the chat, you guys, if the sound is good for you guys. Sometimes it's kind of hard with the headphones on and both ends.
Yeah.
And do not forget to put your name in the raffle, guys. I don't want you to miss out.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Make sure, please make sure you put your name in the raffle. We definitely want to show love to you
Type
guys.
it out for us, and we'll get you in there.
There you go.
Bye Polar is reminding us that the original Black Christmas is on Tubi.
That's where I checked it out.
I think everything's on Tubi at this point.
Tubi's awesome.
So this is Victoria Miro, who plays Sam, the granddaughter of Jess Bradford.
Awesome.
That's Malika Henney, who plays her friend Justine. And Shelby Handley, who plays Emma.
You okay? I just wish we'd gotten in. Such bullshit.
I mean, they had no interest in letting us see the place. It's like they knew you were coming before we even got there.
Sounds good, Michael.
What if we went back next week and explained who you are? I mean, we didn't even get past the intercom.
They don't care, Emma. It's like they can smell anyone who's going to mention it.
You are not just anyone. You're not some news reporter, Sam. Your grandma lived to tell.
My grandma made a fortune on something people are trying to forget, including that house. Thanks for driving. You don't mind?
Of course not.
I'm sorry. I really, really wanted to look inside. My grandma talked about it all the time.
It's as if everyone wants to forget it ever even happened, you know?
This whole town is like that.
You have a past like that place? People don't forget.
It's a great area that's shot in.
It's beautiful, yeah. We cast these three ladies 8 months before we went to camera, so they naturally had all that time to develop a rapport and a relationship, and the chemistry just feels so natural.
It doesn't take me long, and I'll say
it is.
that these girls are solid.
I just want to say, any stuttering you see with the picture or that kind of stuff to the audience, obviously that's just the connection, not the film itself, just in case somebody's wondering. So this is not supposed to be the same house from the original film, because some people think that. This is just a house that's like it. This is Jess Bradford's house that she owned.
These shots are incredible.
I'll go get our stuff.
Yeah, the cinematography is great. Shout out to our DP, Greg Bennett, professional of 30 plus years. He's incredible. Our whole team is amazing.
It's my first time being here without her.
Yes, they were drone shots, correct. Yep, Adam Gamble was our drone pilot.
Remember what you told me when my grandfather died? You said that because I had a really good relationship with him, that I always knew what he thought of me. And that it'd always be easier anytime I thought of him. And you were right. So now I'm saying the same thing to you. You are not alone. Okay?
I love you.
Let's go.
Okay.
I thought you ladies were never going to show. Hi, I'm Mrs. Crane. I'm Jess's neighbor.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Sam, I'm so happy to finally meet you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
It's our first Easter egg
Sure,
there
these
on
last few weeks haven't been easy.
Mrs. Crane's
But
coat.
just know your grandma
Black
always
unicorn.
spoke very highly of you.
Love it.
She was very special.
Thank you.
I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I was a huge fan. I read all her books, including the Belmont murders. She was an incredibly brave woman.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Here are the keys. I'd love to stay and chat, but I'm working a double over at the hospital. Take care, girls.
See you later. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
We Victoria, who plays Sam here, she looks like a young Olivia
ready?
Hussey.
Yeah.
And it was important for us to cast somebody in that likeness.
That was actually one of the questions I had written down for the end of this, because she does look very similar.
She does.
I know, it's freezing.
Made sure the hair matched and everything.
I might heat up some hot water. Do you want some? Oh, for tea? Yeah, that'll be great. Do you think your grandma still has that like cranberry tea? She used to have it like
the
covered
best.
over the
Okay, wait. You knew about this place?
Yeah, I spent a lot of summers up here with Sam as a kid.
Okay, so is this like your house now, or?
No, don't get too comfortable. My dad wants to sell it. Come on, wait until I show you the rooms upstairs.
Am I gonna get lost?
You don't keep
Yeah,
up.
these three ladies were just brilliant. Just fantastic to work with.
You got that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Wow, this place is amazing.
Yeah,
Isn't
one of the
it?
things, it pertains to what
Sam's
you were
grandma used
talking
to let us
about. Like
hide in these
the
curtains.
conversation is so natural.
You could see her feet sticking out the bottom, but she used to pretend
Well,
that she
they're
could.
professionals, right? I mean, they are professional actors, and
Dude,
so
yeah, and
we cast them, like I said, 8 months before we went to camera. So they would have wine Zoom sessions because it was during the pandemic. It was in 2020, and they would just get together and talk and shoot the shit and get to know each other. And so that chemistry really came through on camera, which was great. And that says the love between a grandma and a granddaughter is forever, something like that. Here's our first shot of the phone.
There it is.
So those two photos on the mantle behind her there, the first one in the gold frame is Knightley Gaimo, one of our executive producers, and the couple in the black and white frame are actually my parents from about 50 years ago.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, the house is gorgeous. I mean, it's just...
Yes, it is. I was just going to say that. Wow.
When you're shooting a low-budget indie horror movie, location, location, location.
Okay, I'm officially buying this house from your dad.
There she is. So again, as you can see, we're taking our time. We're taking our time with it, establishing the mood, the feeling, the vibe. We're in no rush to, we really want to set that I think the film stuttered there. Yeah. We really want to set that tone and that vibe and that feeling and just that pensive, slow, eerie, really set it up. I love films that are like that. And again, it was important to us that this felt like it lived and breathed in the same universe as the original.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of comments about the location.
That's upstairs.
Yeah, great location.
I used to keep her up so late.
And James is saying, check that attic before you stay there, girls.
No shit. No shit.
They should have done that. They should have done that.
Is upstairs talking to Chris. No, Mark.
God, she really needs to decide between those two. I really gotta start taking care of myself, Emma. I don't want to end up like her.
You're not like her. You're strong. Like your grandma.
All I remember is all the fighting. I don't think my mom knew how much my grandma loved her. My grandma always said that she believes that they survived that night for a reason. But my mom just hated growing up living in the shadow of it all. She once told me that she believed that their relationship became more about that night than about her.
Listen, your mom wasn't exactly the easiest person to get along with. I remember how she treated you when she was drinking.
She was like that all the time.
Yeah.
She died so young. The shitty thing is that they never made up before my mom died. And now Grandma's gone too.
It was important for us to, one of the direction we gave the actors was to, allow that natural breathing room, right? Just take your time with the scene. You're in no rush. Make it feel real and emotional. And they did. They did a great job.
If you want to get someone on board with a fan film, this is the type of fan film you show them.
What happened?
This is incredible.
Okay, so Mark.
Okay.
And I are official.
What?
We are.
In my
Finally.
So this is,
So what's his name?
can you pause it for a second? Are you able to pause it for a sec?
I am.
Perfect. I just wanted to take a moment. This is how deep we think about this stuff. Now, again, the audience isn't necessarily going to think of this consciously. And that's, if you pick up on it and you get it, then that's great, right? But when you are working with symbolism and cinematic language, the audience isn't necessarily supposed to pick up on it consciously. But when we go back and we remember when Sam first entered the living room, right? We were on the Dana dolly tracking from right to left, and we followed her along. And then in the, into the frame comes the black phone, right? It comes into frame. It's just kind of there. The audience sees it, but just kind of there. And then here we are back in the living room. This time the camera is turned the other way, facing the dining room. And now we're tracking from left to right. And we settle in the same position where the phone is, the same height and same position where the phone is. So it's almost like Billy is watching them from the other room. It's a very sort of voyeur kind of thing here, right? And we're not cutting in yet. We're taking our time. We're watching them, kibitz back and forth, being young girls, right? And we're just sitting here watching, taking our time, as if Billy is watching them, right? Because the phone is the representation of Billy. Right. So it's those little things that because we have had people pick up on it after watching it a couple of times. But those are the things, that's how deep we go with films like this, because there's such rich opportunity to do it. And you can evoke a feeling and make your audience feel something without them even understanding why they're feeling that way. And it's great. Sorry.
Nice. Right.
Anytime you want to pause it, just say the word because that
I mean, I'm getting a ton of comments about the actors, that the chemistry and everything, that they're doing such a great job.
They are solid.
All right, here we go.
I'm not talking to this anymore.
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not.
Well, this is new.
We didn't know this.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, a toast to friendship.
Take care, Chris.
love,
Thanks for
and
coming.
Healing.
Thank you, Chris.
Cheers. Okay, this looks good, Sam. My compliments to the chef.
Well, you can thank the microwave.
I think mine all the time.
I really appreciate you guys being here. I really hope your families aren't too pissed at me.
Are you kidding me? There's nothing wrong with wanting to spend one last Christmas at your grandmother's house.
Yeah, we weren't gonna let you come up here alone. Besides, we're basically sisters.
You guys are amazing. Seriously.
Oh yeah, we know that, but somehow you're just figuring this out now. I gotta say though, this place is amazing.
Can you pause it for a sec?
I
Sorry.
never really knew how she did it, though.
I never get these opportunities. So as you can see here, we're in a 3-shot, right? We're in like a medium shot of the 3 ladies. We're bouncing back and forth between them, which is great. In a moment here, when things get a little serious and Sam starts to open up, we're going to jump to the end of the table. And the camera is going to push in, and we're not going to break, and we're just going to push in and slide right up to Sam. And that actually, we did actually have the camera on a jib on some dolly track. So the camera was actually sliding, not on the table, but traveling across the table towards Sam. And again, talking about the use of cinematic language, for us, what that was is that, we could have had Sam explain what she's about to explain here in a moment in the medium shot here with her, right? The medium close up. We could have had that, but we decided to go to the other end of the table and slowly, push in, traveling across the table as if the audience is the 4th girl at the end of the table, or the 4th person, and we're leaning in to listen more carefully. You know what I mean? You'll see what I mean here in a second.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it would be so lonely. This place always kind of creeped me out as a kid.
You never told me that.
I was 10. Okay, I wanted to seem cool. And besides, I loved your grandma. I didn't want her to think her house creeped me out.
If it wasn't for all the unwanted attention because of the book, I don't think she would have moved up here in the first place. Like, I think she thought that if she wrote it all down, it would be somehow therapeutic.
Was it?
Well, I think at first. Then, between all the talk shows, the interviews, and the prank calls, I think she had enough. Yeah. She made a lot of money, though. But, in the end, that wasn't good for my mom and her bad habit. Something's been bothering me, though. And it always has since my grandma told me. The cops said Peter did it. And for years, my grandma said the same, but I think she started to have doubts. She once told me that Peter was an angry, jealous, self-entitled snob, but not a killer. It was strange.
Wait, Peter's the one your grandmother killed, right?
In self-defense, yeah. He doesn't even feel like my grandpa. I never even knew him.
So, do you think the killer's still out there?
Closed case. But the way she used to describe those calls.
Yeah.
No, that is smooth camera work.
Yeah.
It's when you're working with pros. Everybody that worked on Billy work in Canada's film and TV industry, and Billy was just a stop along the way. You know what I mean?
I'm glad they made it.
This is why horror movies drive me crazy.
Me too.
If the killer is chasing you, you should be running out the front door, not up the stairs.
Yeah. Thanks. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hell no. Hell no.
Wrong number?
I don't know. It sounded like there was someone there, but they just weren't saying anything.
Does that bother you?
You mean, does she think
Little.
it's her grandmother's dead former boyfriend who's actually her grandfather back from the grave to get us all? Oh my God.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate that.
You love me.
I'm sure it's just a wrong number.
I don't know.
You don't see phones like that anymore.
No, you don't.
I was about to say something about the phone. Yeah.
Well, pause it for a second. I'll tell you.
Okay,
Sure.
creepy. Please.
So, obviously, one of the staples of the original Black Christmas is the rotary phone, and you know, I mean, I remember them. You remember them, obviously, right? But they're not used anymore, of course. But we wanted to have them in our movie. Well, hang on a sec. How do you have them in your movie when you're setting it 50 years later? Nobody uses landlines anymore, right? And there's something about the cell phone that just isn't. It's just not. It's not going to
No,
work.
it's
You know what I mean?
not.
It's not the same kind of thing. But of course, when you set the movie in an old mansion in the north that your 70-year-old grandmother used to live in, who's to say that your 70-year-old grandmother didn't have a rotary phone or two?
Oh, there
You
could
know what I mean?
absolutely be a landline there. for
That's
sure.
right. That's right. So
For sure.
it's properly motivated in that sense. It works. Goodbye. If it was their apartment, if they were in their apartment right now in the city, no, that would be weird. It'd be like, what do they have a rotary phone for? But when you're way up in the north at your grandma's old mansion, yeah, grandma's probably got a landline, and it might even be an old phone. You know what I mean? So,
But even that, you know, our time's limited for that. But yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
that is true. That is true.
Our time
We're
is limited.
just getting in there, just getting right under the
For
radar.
sure.
Yep.
Polar is saying, and it begins.
That's
Yes,
right.
It does.
Here we go.
Yes, it does. Lydia is saying, I want to say the lighting is fantastic too. Really sets the atmosphere. That's your word, Dave. You love that word.
Yes, thank you very much. That again, shout out to our amazing team, our DP Greg Bennett, our gaffer Nikita, our key grip Naz, the grips, our first and second assistant camera, the actors, of course. Yeah, I mean, just amazing work all
scene
around.
here with them watching the scary movie together and everything is fantastic.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we wanted to feel sort of, you know, what girls might do, you know what I mean? And they're snuggling on the couch, having some hot cocoa and watching a movie and because I mean, Justine and Emma are there for moral support for Sam, right? Sam's grandmother has passed, and so she wants to be there spend one last Christmas at her grandmother's mansion where she used to frequent as a child. Emma knows Sam since childhood. Justine might be newer, maybe they met in college or something like that, but they're three friends, and so yeah, they're there for Sam. Sam's going through a lot right now, and you can see it. You can see it in the conversation. She's going through a lot.
Definitely like to give a shout out to my friend, the Night Watch Zone, stopping by to say, hey, everyone. What's up, Night?
Great to see you, Night. Hello.
Russell is saying they're probably watching Scream on the laptop.
Well, I could break the illusion for you if you want, or do you want me to break the movie magic or no?
I do.
You do?
Yep.
Mike, how about you?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Why not?
So they're not watching anything. What they're actually, when this scene opened, you heard like a chainsaw and a scream and all that. That again, all the sound is done in post. I did all the sound as a voice actor, as a guy who works with sound for over 20 years. I did all the sound design on the film. Now, I didn't capture the sound well on set. That was our boom operator and sound recordist, Adrian Ancona.
So there's no 03 Texas Chainsaw on that laptop going on.
There is not.
Right.
No, that was,
Right.
I just knew in the script, it says they're watching a horror movie. Well, what says horror movie better than you know what I mean? So
enough.
I just, I put that in. No, they're actually just watching. I think it's because we liked how the light from the screen illuminated Shelby, and so I think it's just, it might be an episode of The Walking Dead on mute.
Gotcha.
And it's during like a daytime scene, and of course they're pretending they're watching a horror movie.
So they're watching.
You heard that, Val? They're watching The Walking Dead.
Add some chainsaws.
That's right.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Please tell me it's nowhere around here.
No. My mom made her get rid of it a long time ago. It's like she was obsessed with anything that reminded her of that night.
ADR done, not with the girls. No, I do all of Billy. I do 99% of Billy's voice on the phone. So obviously that was done here in my studio.
Awesome.
Hello?
There's my here we go moment.
Okay, who is this? Listen, your prank calls aren't going to scare me, pal, okay?
She thinks it's just a prank call. Somebody
Well,
trying to, fuck with her grandmother again, right?
They
She's unaware of the seriousness of it.
It's phenomenal.
Okay, who the fuck is this? You just tried.
Don't
Did he say I should have killed the baby?
This is a stupid
Yes.
prank call.
That's
It was only a matter of time
phenomenal.
before they got the number, right?
Okay, but how did they get this number, Sam? Your grandma had it unlisted.
I don't know. But this is the kind of shit that drove my grandmother up here in the first place.
Yeah, she thinks it's those prank calls. That her
Dude, prank or
grandmother
not,
made
I'm
over the years.
uneasy right now. Like,
Yeah.
hell
Well,
no,
she's
dude.
unaware that it's actually, who it is,
Problem solved.
Got you.
which is why she's just
It's such
kind of.
bullshit, Sam. They shouldn't be fucking with you like this.
Thank you, Night Zone. Appreciate it.
It's okay.
That's right. Hang up.
Seriously.
That's the second one.
Do the face.
What?
Do.
Dave, you're absolutely sick with your voices, man. Absolutely
You want to prove you're okay?
unbelievable.
Do the face.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Like to say hi to Katie for popping the popcorn. Another one of my mods. What's up,
Yes.
Katie?
Could you actually pause it and go back? Just like maybe, a couple of seconds. Just go back a little bit. Go back. Yeah, there. That's good. That's
All right.
good. I just wanted to highlight this moment because it's sweet. Because you have these. Obviously, something has happened, right? And Sam, she was almost like she was hypnotized by it. It's the first time she's ever heard this, and in her mind, she's thinking, "Is this?" And then she's like, "Oh, this is just." Listen, prank calls aren't going to scare me, pal. Okay, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't realize it's the real guy. She thinks it's another one of those prank calls which sent her grandmother up north in the first place, which is what she said at the dinner table. And obviously things are a little tense right now. Her friends are very worried about her because they know her history and that kind of stuff. And then there's just a really nice moment here to bring it back to we wanted to end this scene on a really sort of nice, cute moment with the girls, a funny moment with the girls, because shit's about to get darker.
I wanted
unfortunately.
to ask you something, Dave.
Yeah.
So does she truly just 100% believe it's a prank call, or is she like deep down freaked out and trying to play it off? I wasn't sure. It's
a good question. I think for Sam, because she's dealing with a lot, and this is the first time that she's hearing this, I think the reason why you see her sort of there, we're pushing in and she's listening, and she does react at the beginning, right? When you hear no, and she kind of goes like this, she flinches a little bit. So she's being affected by what she's hearing, but then it's almost like she gets lost in what she's hearing. And then she kind of, all right, you know what? Okay, enough of this, right? You know what I mean? So it's almost that balance, like maybe she was getting swayed. And then, so subconsciously, you're right, Matt. I mean, maybe she kind of does feel, you know what I mean? And then she, no. You know what I mean? And she's trying to be strong.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I think you're right. I think somewhere in her, she is a little spooked,
maybe deep,
for sure.
deep down. Okay.
For sure. I mean, wouldn't you be?
Oh yeah.
I would be, and I did it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's like from Black Christmas. It's like we know what's coming. Like I'd be a freaking.
That's
mess,
it.
You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, go start the car right now. It's time to go.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Got the number, right?
Okay, but how did they get this number, Sam? Your grandma had it unlisted.
I don't know.
Right
But
there, I'm
this
done.
is the kind of shit that drove my grandmother up here in the first place.
But then there wouldn't be a movie.
Exactly. Unlisted. Shit, get in the car.
Yep.
There. Problem solved.
No, it's such bullshit, Sam. They shouldn't be fucking with you like this.
It's okay. Seriously.
Do the face.
What?
Do the face.
You want to prove you're okay?
Do the face.
There it is.
We had a Rolodex of phases
They're
she
so
tried.
annoying.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
No, the girls' chemistry is awesome. Like it is. It is.
And it's a nice moment to end on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the phone's
Absolutely.
unplugged. She unplugged it.
Oh shit.
It should take care of things.
You'd think.
She's got her headphones in. Listening to music.
Teresa, if you could, when you get a chance, could you give me an update on how many names are in the raffle?
No! 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 No!
I love it.
This is Brian Charles Peter. That really is his hair.
I love it.
He did a fantastic job. We wanted, I mean, we imagined what would Billy be like 50 years later? Where would, what would be the cognitive decay? You know, he's not going down the street getting a haircut.
Dude.
Daddy's gone. Fetch a little.
As far as names, Michael, you can also reach out to Lydia. She's helping with that in case Teresa hits her bedtime and passes out. So
she put in chat 18.
So Lydia's on that as well. Okay.
So she heard there was a little, almost like a stone at the window.
The Billy shot was unreal.
The attic, it's all the house. Yep, that's the attic of the house.
Good to see you on here, John, my good friend, by the way.
I guess nobody's there. Oh, well, gonna go back to bed. Guess she forgot she closed the door. She's too sleepy.
Details.
Yeah.
Jerry just gave a blanket. Oh, no.
I love this shot. Just slow pushing on her face. No music. Just quiet. But you can hear somebody moving.
I love the shot of his eye.
Yeah, it's great.
I knew you would, Michael.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
22 times he stabbed her.
If that's not a throwback, like, oh,
Now, can you pause it for a sec?
Sure.
hell
Sorry.
yeah.
Thanks. So that was, some people have, and I just want to say this because I have heard some people speculate on it, say, oh, I guess they didn't show any blood or didn't show any because maybe they didn't have the budget. Had nothing to do with that. It's all it's all stylistically the type of movie we are creating. So for us, this was a very intense scene, as you saw, and we just tracked from left to right behind the bed, and we just saw the back of him and just the arm coming up and down. Very old school
I didn't need
Hitchcockian
blood for
sort of
that
kind of
scene.
thing. Not at all. And again, very much in the same vein as the original film, but those old school films that we love so much from the Hitchcock days, right? And so no, it wasn't because we could have exploited that and showed blood hit the ceiling and all that kind of stuff, but why do it, right? It's more of that. Personally, I think what we did here was far scarier. Just to watch it. And, oh my God, what is happening here? 22 times. Anyway, now this shot you're about to see here, obviously this is a little later now. The clock is, I think it's a couple hours later. The music has stopped. Sam's in bed, and she'll hear a knock. This is one shot. So I don't know if anybody in the chat likes oneers, as they're called, but this is one shot. We follow Sam from her bed, down the hallway, down the stairs, all the way to the front door. And it's nearly a 2-minute shot, and we do not cut. And so we rehearsed this. It took about 5.5 hours to set up for this shot because we are lighting 3 sides of the house. And Sam is walking through the space. And when you're walking through the space and it's one shot, the lighting has to match, right? Because you're moving through the space. It's very much like what, Carpenter did in the original Halloween, right? You're moving through the space, the lighting has to match. So yeah, 5 hours to set up. We rehearsed it a number of times. We shot it 8 times, and it was the 8th take that we used. So we could have used the 6th take or something like that, but I forget why we chose the 8th take. There might've been just something I liked, about it, but, yeah, it's one take. And big shout out to our first assistant camera, Jacqueline DeBacco, who is our focus puller, who is pulling focus through this entire shot in the dark. You're a pro when.
Dave, the last thing I would have said about that Billy shot was it needed blood. That shot was fantastic, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Leave the blood for Rob Zombie. He's going to give us plenty of that. This
That's
film
it.
does not need that. And yeah, man.
You see a little bit of blood in a moment, but it's not like you're seeing gore, right? We don't have gore.
That scene was perfect.
Yeah.
Lydia'd like to know how you created the stabbing sounds.
Yeah.
All in post-production. So all the sound that you hear in terms of, like the car starting or the stabbing sounds or doors opening, plates clanking, that's all done in post. So that means it's all done after the movie is made, and it's done in post-production when the movie is being edited. We first put the film together in terms of doing the picture lock or the assembly edit. You first do an assembly edit, and then picture lock means that the picture is locked and you're not going to do, any more editing. And then you do the sound. I tend to do picture and sound at the same time. But that's, yeah, it's all their sound effects. And of course you have to match them to when he comes down. That's where you got to have it. When he goes up and he comes down, that's, you got to have it. It's Me, Billy chapter 1 here had, I think, about 18 layers of audio. Oh, so it's
so
just,
I do some video editing, and I know what 18. I've never done 18 layers. That's crazy.
Yeah, but and that's everything from building the environment, right? You know, you're going to hear a knock here in a second, right? Well, that's added in afterwards, right? I think the actual raw footage, the outtake, you would hear us say, you know, okay, speed, rolling camera, and action, and then you'd hear me in the background going bang, 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 you know, to symbol to Victoria to respond, right? But then, of course, in post-production, you take that out and you add the knock. So
nice.
And I have one more question. It's coming from John here. He's saying, what is the significance in 22 stabs? Anything? Because you had mentioned it twice.
Oh, I see. I tend to repeat myself for effect, John. No, there's no significance to it. It just ended up being that way.
John's just kind of like 22. Why don't I know what 22 is?
John is a good friend of mine I work with, and he loves his horror. And
amazing. Yeah, but sorry.
No, that, you know, if he feels he misses something, he wants to know why. So
I love it. Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I love that he's thinking like that, right? Because there are things in this movie that are, you know, significant, right? So I love that you're thinking like that. That's cool. But no, the 22 stabs doesn't mean anything. It just happened to be 22. I mean, we shot that about 3 or 4 times, and there might have been a take where he did it, you know, 21 or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Gotcha. Wasn't like a Loomis. I shot him 6 times.
No.
Gentlemen, I'm going to take a quick restroom break. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Okay, sounds good.
Film.
All right. No. We'll wait for you.
We will wait for you, sir.
Yeah. I wanted to see this. I wanted to see this.
Plan. But I appreciate you breaking all this down for us, man. We've never really had anybody on the show that would, you know, break things down shot for shot. And I'm sure that you get a lot of questions with that stuff. You know,
yeah, well, I mean, well, it's fun to do too, because obviously, you know, it's not, I mean, you know, you don't usually get to watch a movie with, you know, one of the directors of the picture and get to tell you sort of what it's all like. Now on the Blu-ray, which was part of our Indiegogo campaign, there is a director's commentary on the Blu-ray, and there is a 1-hour BTS featurette that is the making of this film. And there will be a similar thing for chapter 2, I'm sure, as well. So
excellent. And then when we get through this, we'll talk a little bit about It's Me, Billy 2. I know you guys really haven't done anything. I know you really can't give any spoilers, and nor would we want any, because, you know, this is a great story. But definitely want to go through the Indiegogo so they can see exactly what you're doing over there. I caught a little bit of your stream yesterday. I was actually with Matt at the shop. And I will tell you one thing: when you got, you know, your bigger donation at the end, I was watching for that, and you had played the Rocky music before that, man. I'm telling you, I feel like that those two things were connected.
Maybe that's what I got to do.
He's gonna throw Rocky 4 in here. He's gonna get some money. I'm telling you.
Here we go. All right, donate.
Oh man, he went with Rocky 4. It's coming through, I'll tell you.
It's coming through. Yeah, it's been well, I mean, you know, when you're in campaign mode and you're trying to raise your production budget, it's a lot of work. But you know, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Hey, it's I mean, you guys have what, 3 weeks left? You know,
just under, so 19 days and still about $28,000 to go to reach our budget to get it into demand. It's 120,000 Canadian, about 89,000 US. And we've so far raised about 91,000, almost 92,000 Canadian, which is great. So these next few weeks are going to be pretty intense, but we're going to do what we can.
And I mean, percentage wise, have you looked at, you know, how far you are now and what you're projected to hit if you continue the same, you know, trajectory of what you're doing now?
So, I mean, if we were to continue on the trend we are right now, we would make it. We would actually probably raise about 140,000, which would be great, because as an indie filmmaker, you could always use that padding, right, for, you know, contingency and, you know, extra shooting days, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if we're going to do that. We just want to get to 120 before June 30th. And then that means even though the campaign ends, we go into demand and we can still raise funds afterwards and people can still pick up perks afterwards. So that's the goal. Reach our goal, get it into demand, and then, we're sailing. So.
Oh, yeah.
We're still paused, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
No,
we
we're
wanted to wait for you. Wanted to wait for you. I wanted you to see the shot, Matt.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Sorry to hold you guys
Wait,
up.
Dave understands. We're all a little bit older. We know that we got to go to the bathroom.
Hey, I understand. You know what? It's I get the prostate. I get no.
I'll just put a catheter in next time.
There you go. There you go. Just pee in your pants.
If you find nobody sees from the waist below on the stream anyway.
That's it. I mean, I'm naked right now. It's fine.
Oh, all right.
Not really. I'm kidding. In case somebody actually thought
fitting right in on the stream, Dave. Let me tell you, you have no idea.
There you go. There you go.
All right, we ready?
Yep.
Ready.
All right, here we go.
That's the police knock. You get up for that.
That says like 3:34 or something in the morning.
Yeah.
Not answering that door.
Yeah, they did such a great job with this shot. We were watching on a monitor. We were in the room right there. You see the door to the left right there? Little door to the left? That's where we were watching on the monitor.
Justine?
Oh, hell no.
And then we just continue. We haven't broken yet.
And I'm not trying to belittle it, but there's almost no point in saying this is a great shot. The entire movie has been a great shot, if you ask me.
Appreciate that.
I mean, honestly.
Well, we wanted, like, it's very dark, and that's intentional. We didn't want it to have that studio lighting. We want Sam to get lost in the shadows. We want those deep blacks in the corners. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you see her walk into the light and out of the light. You lose her for a moment, and then you pick her up again. That was very important to us. And then here's where we finally cut.
Hello? You know, it's really fucking late.
Nice.
So she's thinking,
wait, that's unplugged, correct?
It was. That's why she had the reaction she did.
That's what I thought.
Because she's thinking, I unplugged that. Now she's suspecting something.
Hello? Who the hell is this?
They're all dead. What did you do? What did you do?
You can see her starting to panic.
Can you pause it for me, Michael?
Justine! Justine!
Yeah.
How many voice actors are involved with these phone calls?
Well, this is okay. So this is all me.
That's so impressive, Dave.
And obviously it's layered. So I will go into my booth over here. If you guys see that, that's a booth there. And well, it's a walk-in closet, but I've turned it into a booth, and that's where I do all my professional voiceover work and all that kind of stuff, whether it's, commercials and, animation, all that kind of stuff. But you go in there and you go that way and it opens up a little bit, and I have a screen in there and a microphone and all that kind of stuff. It's professionally treated. So I go in there and I have the script up in front of me. I know what I want to do, and I riff for a while. And there's certain things that I need to say for the continuity and the context of the story. Like, I should have killed the baby, things like that. That's important because who's he talking about? Right. Well, Jess was pregnant at the end of the original Black Christmas. Right. So those little things are like are story connectors to the past. And then, so those are things that are important that you hear. And then there's just, the incoherent nonsense, which I go in there and I try out a few different things and, all that kind of stuff. And then it's being obviously recorded, and I come back here, I sit down and I play with it and I feel what jives. And then I will put it into the timeline, feel what works, what doesn't in terms of timing, her reaction, all that kind of stuff. There's two instances that are not me, that are Brian Charles Peter, who played Billy, because we loved it was perfect. And we wanted him in there too. I obviously am only the voice. I do not play the physical body of Billy, but Brian was the one that said at the very end of the first phone call, right before Justine said, it was just before Sam took the phone away from her and slammed it down. He says, "I'm going to kill you." Right. That was Brian. And then that big laugh during the first phone call, the one where he's like, that kind of laugh, that was Brian.
Well,
so we've got Brian in there twice, but everything else was me.
I don't think I'm alone on this. Kudos to you, my friend. I'm going to go as far as to say that these phone calls surpass the original. It's amazing.
That's it. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Our goal was to, again, with this whole picture, our goal was to, it's a fan and tribute film, right? We didn't know if we were going to have the opportunity to make another one. It looks like we're going to donate to the campaign, and shameless plug. And but we wanted to do it right. And I knew, I mean, as a professional voice actor of nearly 22 years, or I guess, no, I've been in the entertainment industry for 22 years, a professional voice actor for 18 years. I knew it was it's my forte, and I was like, well, I'm going to do it, and I love doing it. I enjoyed it. And I knew, because I'm such a big fan of the original, I knew those nuances and idiosyncrasies that would make the audience believe it's the same individual.
Yeah. Well,
just 50 years later.
Yeah. Amazing.
So thank you. I appreciate that.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Oh, no. Oh, you're all right. All right. I rewound it just a little bit because I wanted to see that shot of her, running into the other room there.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, she knows something's up.
Justine! Justine! Emma!
Oh, she's trying to find her phone. Can't find it.
Thank God they have a landline.
Or do they? The phone's gone.
Oh, shit.
She's being gaslit.
Yeah, look at the ornament.
Yep. Oh, yeah, she's being gaslit. She's being played. She's not in control here.
Nope.
She couldn't find her phone, couldn't find the keys.
No landline?
Nope.
Jesus.
She hears the phone ringing. Oh, she hears a phone ringing. What the fuck? Thank you, Jerry. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Love the lights. Love it.
Don't go up the stairs. That's right. Don't go up the stairs. So it makes the best horror movies. What are you doing?
That's Mad Mom right there.
Why?
In reality, horror movies would be over in 5 minutes if everybody behaved appropriately.
Correct.
Well, I'll touch on that in a second because it does happen.
I'm starting to get pissed off that I've never seen this up until now. Like, why? How did this slip through the cracks?
It slipped through a lot of people's cracks.
You know?
Oh, can you pause it for a second? Sorry.
Sure.
So
pause it on that slipped through a lot of people's cracks.
There's a lot of people's cracks. So in the original Black Christmas, the movie, I think, opens and ends with a rendition of Silent Night. And so the Silent Night you're about to hear playing from this record player is the exact, it's not just the same song, Silent Night, it's the same version of Silent Night that you heard in the original Black Christmas. And again, that's just a little Easter egg that we put in there for those diehard Black Christmas fans. And then in a moment here, you're going to see, this is not really a spoiler because you heard the phone ringing. You're going to see a phone shortly, and you're going to see a number on that phone. In the original Black Christmas, I want to say this now so I don't have to pause it later and ruin the momentum. Right. In the original Black Christmas, there's a scene where John Saxon's character comes over with a lineman, and they go in and they're trying to tap the phones, right, to figure out who's calling. And the lineman calls the operator and says, yes, operator, I'm calling from 55, I forget the number now, like 555 or 554-1138 or something like that. And so we made note of that and wrote that as the number on the phone here in the attic, symbolizing that the phone you see here in the attic is the exact same phone from the sorority house in 74. Her grandmother kept it. And so that's a deep cut, an Easter egg that maybe the average person wouldn't get. But when you see the number, for hardcore fans, you're going to go, oh shit, that's the phone.
And,
You know what I mean?
And hardcore fans love that stuff, man.
They do.
They
do.
eat it up. So
for sure. And it's properly motivated. It's not just tossed in there for the hell of it. It's all part of the thing, right? Her mother was obsessed, right? Her grandmother, and she kept a lot of stuff. And so it makes sense. Anyway, my apologies. All right.
Oh, good. Just real quick while we're stopped, I want to say hi. Kirsten Marie's in the chat saying hello. What's going on?
Hello, Kirsten.
Hello.
Lydia is saying, this has me tense. I'll say it again. The atmosphere is amazing.
Thank you very much.
It is.
And Polar is saying, Randy from Scream would have a lot to say.
Probably would.
Oh,
don't go in the. I can already see it. Yeah,
I know.
definitely.
Do not do that.
We ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's a little throwback in itself without the rap, right?
Look at that shot. Oh.
There it is.
What the fuck do you want? Who are you?
What happened? Are you okay? Are you hurt?
I don't think so.
Sweetheart, listen, my brother and I live just up the road. We'll call the police from there.
This is great. I...
Dear, please, call me Agnes. Now tell me exactly what happened.
My friends are dead. There's a man.
Don't worry, dear. I'll make sure you're taken care of. So sorry. I thought I saw something run across the road. You're going to be too careful up here. Do you see anything on your side?
No, there's nothing.
I have so much to say.
Get your fucking ass out here!
Oh man. Freaking, oh, come on, man. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I gotta know, okay, when you were making this, and you guys obviously knew how you guys were gonna end it.
Mhm.
And, it's no secret that you guys have announced that Olivia Hussey will be in part 2.
Yeah, she has as long as, certain things are met and we can raise the production budget and we can get everything in order and, all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
She has agreed to reprise her role as Jess Bradford, one of horror's first final girls, the Olivia Hussey. I mean, this is like Jamie Lee Curtis doing that's, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, she has agreed to, I mean, it's wild. It's wild.
So filming this, so that was the hopes for the continuation. Like, look.
Yeah. Well, we initially wanted to get her for a cameo at the end of this. But of course, in 2020, when we shot this in November of 2020. And obviously 2020, there was the issue in the world at that time. And Olivia's older, of course. I think she's 72 now. So she would have been in her late 60s then. And, of course, the borders were closed and traveling and all that kind of stuff. So we did try to make contact with her reps back then, but did not succeed. So we ended up thinking, well, you know what, maybe it's best we don't anyway because of the whole situation. And why don't we just leave, not just kind of end it on grandma, as opposed to grandma, show her come, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then hopefully this can gain enough traction. People can, like it and want to see more. I mean, listen, It's Me, Billy Chapter 1, I think on YouTube has close to 60,000 views. Some people say that's it, but you have to understand that Black Christmas, just the IP Black Christmas, it's not Elm Street. It's not Friday the 13th. It's not Halloween. Those things can make 10,000 views in an hour and 1 million views, in a week. It's Me, Billy has 60,000 views. Or I think it's 58 or 59. Anyway, it's closing in on 60. We're very proud of it. But what some would consider maybe low view count isn't a reflection of the quality of the work or the movie. It's a reflection of the popularity of the IP. You know what I mean? If this was a Halloween fan film shot professionally, this thing would probably have 60 million views, right? Actually, it'd probably be taken down by Malik, but so we're very proud of it. But Black Christmas is niche. It's again, because it never spawned a franchise. You know what I mean? It didn't embed itself into the pop culture in the same ways those did. So, yeah, we want, but so for us, this has been a big success. So, we decided last year to, move into the next one and see what we can do. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. We actually talked about Black Christmas. Matt and I did. What was it, last week where we were talking? I don't think it was on stream. It might've been offline. Where we were talking about, just kind of what you were saying there about, Halloween having sequels, Friday having sequels, and Black Christmas never having the exposure through sequels, to go through. But
That's
wondering what Billy might look like had they started making Black Christmas 2, Black Christmas 3, Black Christmas 4.
Exactly.
It's
And
funny
that's
you brought that up because we were talking about that last.
That's really cool. It's serendipitous. What's cool about it is that, again, it is a fan film. So because we don't own the intellectual property, we like to call it a fan and tribute film because we believe it's, sort of in that, that other tier, like, what Vince has done and all that. And but it is something that, again, to your point, because it doesn't matter if the sequels are good, right? It doesn't matter if they did 10 sequels that were bad. They exist and they're in the pop culture horror zeitgeist. Therefore, people know what it is. With Black Christmas, it's only had 2 remakes. And the first remake was 32 years later after the original, right? So I think the internet has helped people rediscover it. I know It's Me, Billy has had people go back and, discover it, which is great. But yeah, it was our goal to do something professional through and through, that could be seen as, even though it's not official, could be seen as a companion piece at the very least. And listen, with what we're trying to do with Chapter 2 now, I mean, I don't know how much official, I don't know how much more official you can get without it being official, So, but yeah, it was we knew going into this that this wasn't going to blow up and have like, 1 million views. You know what I mean?
Right.
We knew, and we weren't doing it for that. We were doing it to pay homage and tribute to one of the greatest Canadian horror films ever made. We're Canadian, so who better to do it?
Yeah.
All right. I gotta be Matt, guys, and say a few things that are probably going to be the unpopular opinion, but I've got to get it off my chest here.
Get it off. Let's hear it, Matt.
So I talked to Michael after I watched the first Black Christmas.
Right.
I'm gonna I always keep it straight. I was not the biggest fan. It wasn't 100% my cup of tea. Now I'm going to say this, and Dave, let's face it, I really don't know you from Adam. I just met you this evening. So I'm not saying this to, build your confidence or anything. This fan film for me exceeds the original. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it gave me all the answers that I was looking for in the original. And you sold me when she said, "Hella, I'm Agnes." Like, I wanted to know who the hell is Agnes. In the original, I wanted to see Billy. You gave me Billy. So, man, hats off to you, my friend. The movie, it was incredible. It was incredible. I was not the biggest Black Christmas fan, but I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but this fan film for me, it surpassed the original for me. That was phenomenal. Two things I could say after I watched the original: I needed a little bit more Billy. You gave us that. You gave us that in the best way possible. I was always wondering, who the hell is Agnes? I got to see Agnes. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you.
Well, first, let me say I really appreciate those words. It means a lot. I know the cast and crew would feel the same way. And yeah, we took this very seriously. Again, as I said before the film began, it's a fan film, yes, but we did this like we were making, and in a lot of ways it's cool too, because there were no sequels. Yes, it's a fan film again, but it is original in a lot of ways because there is no mythology that was created, right? There are no things we're tapping into to base on anything, right? We're just, there isn't, it's a completely open book. Who is Billy? Nobody knows. You know what I mean? And so we are creating something that it is based on characters created by, but there is no mythology, right? It's just that one movie. And some people have, just in case some of your viewers think so, some people have speculated that Agnes being Billy's sister was inspired by the 2006 remake, because in that movie there is an Agnes that is his sister. We get to see him. It's a very strange movie, off the wall. Some people love it. That's not the case. There is no inspiration from the 2006 movie or the 2019 remake in this film at all. In the original Black Christmas, that's actually where we first hear the name Agnes. It is on one of the phone calls from Billy. He starts talking about, he's doing all sorts of crazy, voices. And he's like, Billy, where's Agnes? Where's the baby? What did you do with Agnes? And so Bob Clark, who was the director of that film, who, funny enough, also ironically directed A Christmas Story, two completely opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to Christmas movies. He said, although you don't know who Agnes is specifically, he said that in his mind, Agnes was probably Billy's sister who he abused, or whatever. So the sister Agnes thing really actually does come from the original film, but I suspect that more people have probably seen the remake, and that's why they go to that. So just to make that clear, no,
I've not seen the remake. I have literally only seen the original, and then now it's me, Billy.
And I want to say too that your was okay with that film is completely normal. I have found over the years that people tend to either really like Black Christmas because of the things that other people don't really like it for. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's an acquired taste. It's a slow burn. It's an older film, and but
like I said, I did not hate it.
No.
But what I wanted, it's me, Billy gave me. I
That's
wanted
great to hear.
I wanted a little bit more Billy, and damn it, given a visual of Agnes on top of that.
Yeah. Well, and
I'm satisfied now, I guess, is the way
I
to
love
put
to hear it.
You
And
know?
it was important to us too that, I mean, obviously people, some Black Christmas fans, some not, have been like, you showed too much, Billy, or you showed this or whatever. It was very important to us that we weren't doing our own version of the original. We were doing a sequel that progresses the narrative 50 years into the future.
Sure.
So we're very aware that Billy has to remain an enigma to some degree. He's like Michael Myers minus the supernatural.
Sure.
And so his backstory, who he is, how he looks in broad day, all that kind of stuff, we want to preserve that. So we thought, well, how do we progress the character of Billy without just doing the same thing over again? I mean, it is a sequel. We want to, and we felt, well, why don't we show him from a perspective you've yet to see him from? So in the original, it's mostly just POVs and very stark silhouettes. In this one, we had a couple of POVs, but we also were able to show you him from, like, in the original, his tantrum in the attic when he's kicking over stuff is from his POV. In our film, his tantrum is from your perspective. So that's how we felt that we could progress the character without giving him away and showing him in, broad daylight, just show him from a different perspective. And I think it worked.
It did. And seeing him gave me so many great, like, horror icon vibes. I thought of Otis Driftwood. He's got that Otis look. I thought of Vincent from House of Wax, in a sense. Like, it was just,
that's great.
Dude, it was great. It was.
It's great.
And I'm
so glad you enjoyed it.
By any means, you showed him, but you didn't overshow him.
No, not at all.
I don't really know what the hell his facial features look like. And
that's exactly it.
Great.
Yeah, exactly.
You
and that's
him,
that
but
balance.
You didn't,
that's right.
John is asking a question. He said, I'm going to be doing the Blu-ray tier after this stream ends. He said, can you still get part 1 on Blu-ray?
Yes, you can. So if you go to the Indiegogo campaign for It's Me, Billy Chapter 2, there is a perk called the Double Blue. And blue is spelled like how you would spell it with Blu-ray, BLU. And you can get It's Me, Billy Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 as a combo pack. It's only available in that combo pack right now. But yes, if you pick that up, you'll be able to get it. Now, you won't get it probably, again, we probably won't start shipping Blu-rays until late 2024, early 2025. I know that sounds like a long time, but it's just because we have to shoot part 2 first, and we got to get that done and then ship everything, all that kind of stuff, right? There's certain things we'll be able to ship before that, like t-shirts and hoodies and all that kind of stuff. We can ship anytime. But when it comes to the 2-pack and, anything to do with the Blu-rays, because we have to make more of them, right? I have a few on hand, but nothing that could go out to backers. So we have to get more authored, which we will, and then we will send them. So it's a little bit of a wait, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it.
John, I put the link. I have it below our video on YouTube and for Indiegogo, and I also just put it in the chat. So you can go there and see all the perks that they have available for Indiegogo for this, and you should be able to pick it up there if you want to. So yeah, I am seeing, tons of, responses of people, really enjoying this film.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That makes me happy too. Cause I do know that it's not for everybody, right? We have had people, like, it's kind of too slow, or it's kind of boring, or I didn't like this, or I didn't like that. There was somebody that, and listen, and as we talked about before we went live, right? Hey, nobody's right. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. If it works for you, it doesn't, one of the things I love, I think one of my, I have a lot of favorite moments, but one of my favorite moments is at the end when Sam breaks down. And there's 2 ways you can handle that. You can have the pretty Hollywood cry, where she's crying for a moment, and it's that Hollywood type of cry. And we said, no, we want you to Victoria, who plays Sam, she can cry almost on command. She can get, the waterworks going, which is a talent in and of itself. And before we were going to shoot that scene, we had long talks with her saying that, you know, to sort of put her in that mind frame of where she is, what she's seeing, what, you know, this is, you know, huge, right? And we shot it 3 times. We couldn't shoot any more than that because Victoria was tapped out, right, in terms of being able to go there. And but we wanted her to go there. She just lost it. She really just, I mean, and that's what you would do. You know, there's the Hollywood cry, and then there's the dirty, messy
And
cry.
she did not
which
have
feels
her
more
breath.
realistic.
She could not. I love that about her breathing with the cry.
Yeah,
You know, it was dude.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's very believable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I really
Yeah.
felt like she was genuinely upset. And that goes back
Yeah.
to what you were saying about, you know, how good of, you know, actors that, you know, you had in this film.
Tremendous.
Like, it was just,
And, you know, when we said cut, you know, when we let her go through her thing and we're quiet and we're, you know, we're watching her go through thing and we're like, okay, cut, you know, she would stop and be like, okay, I just need a bit, you know what I mean? Because she's still there. Like, she really is there. Like,
Yeah.
she actually, you know, it's not like we're like, okay, cut. And she's like, okay, how was that? No. She's actually crying, you know? So, I mean, that's why it looks like that. It sounds like that because she's really doing that. And,
It is so
that's the sign of a
believable.
tremendous actor, you know, to be able to really, in her mind, she was really seeing her dead friend. I mean, it's incredible.
Her crying is extremely believable. It reminded me after seeing Halloween Ends, like it was identical. Yeah,
of how you were crying in the mirror when that happened.
Yeah, it was identical, like spot on.
It's how you were so.
Yeah. You laughed, Dave. It was a lot like that. It was hard
Yeah.
for me, man.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's rough,
I hear
guys.
you.
So that's exactly how I looked when I saw that movie. It's been crazy.
My other, but there's so many like just wonderful moments, you know, when she's standing at the bottom of the stairs, looking up, and she's based in this moonlight, and she hears the, you know, the phone, and just, yeah, I mean, our entire team, the lighting team, Greg, our DP, you know, just did a tremendous job. Where, you know, it was just great to create that vision together, and yeah, just really proud of it, and really thankful that people in the chat room loved it too. So that's good.
I'm seeing all great things from everyone. You know, me and Matt, you know, through the roof with it. You know, absolutely love this. I'm very happy. You know, not only I knew that it was going to be pretty good because I'm a Black Christmas fan, but you know, the fact that Matt's actually looking at it and being like, "Oh my God, this is freaking awesome." You know,
It was really fun.
Speaks a lot for this, you know.
Totally. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you. I think it's just the delay. Totally, I absolutely agree. And it was fun to watch it with you, Matt, because it's been a while since I've watched it with somebody who hasn't seen it yet. And so it's always cool to watch it with somebody who hasn't seen it, and see them reacting at the moments that you want people to react at, right? You know what I mean? Like when the hand comes down from the rafters, you know, and you're like,
dude.
you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So
Dude,
it's great.
And Michael will tell you, I'm not the biggest slow burn fan. They're hit or miss for me. They're few and far between.
Yeah.
But damn it, that was a hit. That was a hit for me, man. And I don't bullshit. Everybody on here knows me for that. I don't. But yeah, that was executed just beautifully.
Appreciate that.
But
Thank you.
I have posted Indiegogo for It's Me Billy 2, and I want to tell you know, everyone in the chat, you saw the first one. I want to make sure that, you know, Movies and Beyond, we're definitely going to support it. Like I said, fan film stuff, you know, we do our best to try to be in the mix with everything, for the simple fact that we want to support the fans that are making the movies.
From the fans for the fans.
It is. It's everyone. So when you see a fan of this caliber, now granted, we all don't have the movie background that the people making it do. You're seeing the people that care about these franchises making the movies that the actual fans want to see, without studio interruption, without, I think it should be this and not that, to where you end up getting a Jason Takes Manhattan, or, you know, something to where, you know, you knew what the initial story was supposed to be, but it got destroyed because
Freddy's dead.
You know, yeah,
That's right.
Oh God, Jesus.
Yeah, there is that great graphics.
Yeah, you don't get stuff like that from the fans. You know, whether you agree with what they want or not. For the most part, fan films are what a majority of the fans of those fan bases would like to see, you know, or are interested in seeing
That's
with
right.
that. So
Well, yeah,
definitely.
and we can't make anything off this. Myself and Bruce, who are the producers, the directors and the writers, we literally make zero. So the money that you're seeing raised on the campaign, which is about 120,000 Canadian, 89,000 US, is to cover the cost of the cast, the crew, the production insurance, the equipment rentals, craft services, you know, flights, hotels, truck rentals, gas. I mean, union fees.
That's
You
stuff we
know,
don't think about, you know.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we don't make, and as a matter of fact, on chapter 1, there was a few $1,000s we spent out of pocket too.
Sure.
So it literally is from the fans for the fans, and a true labor of love, because it's not like, you know, now if the rights holders were to come forward and be like, hey, you know what, this is fantastic, let's package this together and make it, you know, really official, which they could do. I mean, they don't need to reshoot it. They could just package 1 and 2 and put them together and maybe throw it on a 4K release of the, you know, the original movie or something as like, you know, a companion piece. That would be really cool. But until that happens, it has to stay not for profit, obviously. So we can raise money to make the movie, but we can't make money from the movie. So we can't seek distribution or anything like that. It has to wind up on Vimeo or YouTube for free for everybody to enjoy.
Val was saying this is awesome to get to watch this, Dave, and get behind the scenes stuff. And it was, man. I mean, how often do you
Val.
get to watch a movie, you know, and for some the first time, and have, you know, one of the co-directors, co-creators of this sit there with you and say, well, this is what we were thinking, you know, pay attention to this. You get more of it, you know, you're understanding where the director was coming from when you see that, you know, and
that's it.
Being able to clear little things up and, you know, Easter eggs and stuff. Like there's like, I've seen this before. Now, granted, it's been about a year or so since I've seen it. But there are things that I missed, you know, that you pointed out, like pay attention to how this goes, you know, and it's just like, wow, now I see exactly what you're talking about. And you get the full feeling of the film that way. You know,
that's right.
It was just great.
Totally.
John was asking, how old is the actor who plays Billy? And did you wait on it to snow, or did you just get lucky?
Great question, John. So the actor who plays Billy, I believe Brian is, I want to say Brian's like 71 now, 71 or 72. So he was about 68 when we shot the first one. And in regards to the snow, so I'm in Canada. Obviously the stereotype that it's snow all the time and we live in igloos, but that's all not true. But it isn't. What's going on? So where we were shooting here in Ontario, the province of Ontario, was in a location that could have snow in November, but maybe not. But we knew that it would look, you know, there wouldn't be any leaves on the trees, obviously, and there'd probably be a lot of cloudy days and gloomy. So ideally, we would love to have snow. If this was a multi-million-dollar film, then we would just make the snow ourselves, get, you know, the snow machines, right? Obviously, we can't do that. So we were prepared to shoot this movie without snow, because it's not unprecedented. If you live in the northeast of the US, or, you know, the Midwest, if you live in Southern Ontario here in Canada, you know, whatever, it's not unprecedented to hit November or December and it's cold and it's gloomy and the leaves are off the trees and, you know, the grass is kind of, but there's no snow.
But it sure helps with the Black Christmas to have that snow.
100%. But we were prepared. We were prepared that, you know what, it's believable that there may not be, right? So it's out of our control anyway. So, you know, what are you gonna do? So the day we all drove up to this location, we get there and we're unloading, because we have a travel day. We don't shoot obviously on the travel day. So we're unloading the trucks. We're at the house. We're settling in. The actors are signing a lot of the perks that needed to be signed, like posters and all that kind of stuff. And we're ordering pizza that night and we're hanging out. And then our gaffer, Nikita, comes in and says, guys, it's snowing. We're like, snowing? Now we had just got there, like, I don't know, 4 hours earlier, and it's snowing. So we all go outside. Sure enough, it's snowing. And it's not just snowing, it's snowing.
Hell yeah.
It's like Canada snowing, right?
It's Canada snowing. There you go. And but we're there, we're like, what the hell's going on? Right. And then so now the first shot of the movie, when you see the drone shot of the car on the side of the road and the girls on this, and then there's those drone shots of the car traveling, That actually is day one of shooting. Now,
Wow.
imagine 24 hours earlier, that entire landscape had no snow whatsoever.
Wow.
What are the chances?
Yeah.
The movie gods came down and blessed us. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
that is awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Dino is saying, I mean, I'm a huge Dave McRae fan. Whatever he's in, I'll support. See,
Amazing. Thank you, Dino. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Val is saying another fan film to add to the list of great fan films that we've watched. And thank you for that, Val. Like, we
Thank
do
you,
our
Val.
best to try to get, the best ones on here. And Dave, God, man, you coming through with this is fantastic, man. I know how busy you are right now with campaigning for this and everything. I want to make sure that we definitely get your link out there, and that all these guys, they've seen what It's Me, Billy 1 is, and the amount of people in the chat are just like, I want to, you know what I mean?
So we are doing chapter 2, and we have Olivia Hussey on board, who played Jess Bradford in the original Black Christmas from 1974. We also have Lynn Griffin on board, who played Claire in the original Black Christmas. Now,
That's
Claire
awesome.
was the woman who got the bag over her head in the original film,
Right.
and was sitting in the rocking chair for the whole movie. Now,
Okay.
obviously, Lynn couldn't come back and play Claire because Claire's dead. But we wanted to get Lynn on board. Lynn and I actually have the same voiceover agent. So I had a bit of an in there with Lynn, and Lynn's been on my channel like once or twice. Sweetheart of a woman, fantastic actress, just a ball to talk to, totally professional, totally fun. It's going to be great to work with her. And we wanted to get her on board. And so we thought of an idea to write a role for Lynn where she plays a woman named Nancy, who is the sister of the girl she played, the character she played in the original film. Now, in the original film, there's no mention that she had a sister, but who's to say she didn't have a sister, right? So Nancy has lived with, she's a former cop. I can say this much. She's a former cop, and she's a former detective, I guess, or whatever. And she has spent the last 50 years convinced that the murderer of her sister and her sister's sorority girlfriends has not been caught, is still out there, that the murder is unsolved. It's a 50-year-old cold case. Now, the police department's like, it's not, it was Peter, it was, all that kind of stuff, right? So she's hell-bent on solving this. And so that's really cool. I can't go any more details on that,
That's
but
very
to
cool.
have Lynn and Olivia reunite as well as just actors from the original film is pretty special. So very cool indeed. And of course, Victoria Miro is returning as Sam, and Carol Coltman is returning as Agnes. Brian Charles Peter is returning as Billy. Unfortunately, Shelby and Malika, you know what I mean? But they said they might, it all depends on their schedules, of course, but they might visit the set anyway to just hang out and say hi and, kind of good morale, you know what I mean? But we want to work with them again. It's funny, on chapter 1, the night before I had to, I say I, it's we, the night before we were going to kill Justine off, Malika and Shelby and Victoria were playing cards at the dining room table while we were off shooting something else, probably shooting Brian's scene or something. I don't know. And I came in, and we had wrapped for the night, and I came in, they're playing cards, and I said, and this is the honest to God truth, I'm not making this up. I walked in and I said, I feel really shitty right now. And they're like, why, Dave? Why? Is everything okay? I said, I have to kill you tomorrow. And I said, what's crazy is that because your relationship, you guys, it looks like you guys have been friends for decades. You know what I mean? And you haven't. And the way you guys kibitz back and forth, and you're all cute with each other, and you're laughing and talking about stuff. And so that real thing you see in the movie is how they were. And so now I got to take that away. And I literally felt like shit. I was like, I got to take that away. It's fake. I'm not actually killing anybody. She can get out of the bed once the scene's done and go downstairs and play cards. But it didn't feel like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I felt like I was destroying their friendship. And it was the craziest phenomenon. It was like, I feel like shit.
Michael, can I say one thing? I don't want Mad Mom to get too sleepy.
Sure.
So if we can go ahead and announce those winners.
Oh yeah,
that
definitely,
would be
definitely.
freaking awesome.
Let's do that. But after we do so, Dave, I know that our people in the chat will kill me if we don't talk just a little bit about Freddie before you go.
For sure.
If you have time.
100%. There's just one last thing I want to say on chapter 2, but yes,
Sure.
absolutely. Yep.
Sure. But Polar was saying the snow was a sign that this project was meant to be. And I mean,
I think you were right.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yeah.
I think you're right.
All right. So before we get to that, Matt, let's go ahead. Who is pulling the names from the hat? Who's
That is gonna be Mad Mom. So let's reach out to her and
all right. Let's Teresa. Is there any way that she could do it like on your camera? Like, is there any way that you could do it so people can see the actual names that are being pulled out?
give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Sweet.
We can do that.
Yeah, that way, they'll know that it was pulled out.
That we're legit.
That you weren't picking your two favorite
Yeah,
people,
I got
what
you.
I mean?
I'll be
It's
right
like,
back,
oh, Teresa
guys.
won and I won. It's fantastic.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, but man, it's so many people in the chat right now are saying that this is just fantastic. James, great supporter of the channel, is saying, like I said before, these fan films are just as good as some of these Hollywood movies. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Jonathan Nichols just swung by and said the McCrazies have your back, Dave.
Appreciate that, Jonathan. I recognize Jonathan Nichols' avatar. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Jerry, great Patreon member and follower of our channel, is saying thanks for your time, Dave. We do appreciate having you here and hanging out
Thanks,
with us.
Jerry. Yeah, for sure.
Lydia is coming through saying, for real, thank you for coming and giving us insight, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No problem.
Val the General is saying that is so cool, and she could be talking about a number of things that
That
we're
is true.
talking about here. Seriously. Russell is saying it was awesome to have you here, Dave, to talk with us.
Thank you, Russell. Appreciate that.
Val is saying, I love when the actors and actresses from the OGs are part of these fan films. And, I agree 100%. And I mean, it's not just, with this, it's when we'll talk a little bit about Dylan's New Nightmare working with Rico. I mean, it's great. And the Never Hike Alone with Tom Matthews coming back and stuff. Like, it's so great that they're taking their time as well, to giving into these projects and
well, I think it's
roles.
Yeah, and I think it is a testament to again, how serious myself and Bruce or Vince or Cecil are taking it, right? I mean, again, they're fan films, of course, because we don't own the IP. But if we asked these people to come to our homes and hang out with us for a day and we're just going to, fart around for the afternoon, they're not going to do that. Right. I mean, it's a waste of time. Right. But these are indie films is what they are. And they just carry the fan film label because legally we have to. But in terms of, the process, the equipment rentals, the crew, the cast, it's a short horror film. That's why the quality looks the way it does, and from top to bottom in terms of the production value and the sound, whether it's in my film or Vince's films or Cecil, whatever, it's because it is pro, and sometimes that's tough to get because there is the stigma. Sometimes it's tough to get over that and go, no, you got to watch this. No, I don't watch fan films. They're crap. No, you got to watch it. To me, be like, nah, it's crap. And because they're thinking it's something else. Right. You know what I mean? So it can be tricky, but we're plugging away.
I think as time goes on, a lot of people are going to come out of that mindset.
I think so too.
And just alone, when I decided on this channel, like, guess what? We're doing fan films, these people, and I'm seeing more and more people coming through the chat to watch the fan films and other channels reaching out to me to say, hey, I want to jump on this fan film stuff too. What are your recommendations for this? And will you come and talk to me about? Of course I will, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about the people seeing all of this stuff.
That's right.
I would help 100 channels talk about fan films if they wanted me to, just because I have such a love for, the fan films
It's
themselves.
and that's amazing that, you know, you're doing that. And yeah, I mean, every little bit helps on the campaign. You know, for those of you that are watching now or after the fact, you can get your name in the end credits for about $10. I think it's about $14 Canadian, about $10 US. You can pick up the digital download package, which is the official poster, the movie in full HD, a copy of the script and promotional still images, for about $20 US, I think. And then of course there's, you know, the Blu-rays and hoodies and t-shirts and, you know, there's higher tiers of course, but, that are more expensive, but there's a lot there and every little bit helps. And so if you love chapter 1 and you think it's great, and you want to see chapter 2 and help us out, please visit the link, and help us out. We would really appreciate it. And, we're working our butts off to complete this story and to deliver something really special. And with Olivia Hussey on board, that's an opportunity you just can't let, you know, slide.
That's
You know what I mean?
fantastic. I love her, man. Like you have
great.
no idea. Like, good God.
She's great.
Dino did say something in the chat that I want to put up here because I appreciate what you said so much, Dino. You said it is really cool to see 2 different channels collab, especially when you love both channels. Thank you so much, both of you. Dino, that means a lot, man. And
Thank you,
I
Dino.
definitely appreciate that for sure.
I agree. You know, I get asked to go on a lot of channels and you know, I unfortunately, I because of my schedule and what's going on, I have to sometimes pick and choose, and it's never personal. If you're out there and you're somebody that's asked me and you think, oh, he's probably not coming on because I don't have enough subs or something, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just I get asked and I gotta pick sometimes, and you know, all that. It's just it's hard. Sometimes there are other people that are open, that are not as busy or their schedules align more or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I do know that people do reach out and I do appreciate it. Sometimes it's just hard to do it with everybody. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. Hey, there's Edward Nito. I recognize Edward Nito. He's my Godzilla brother from another mother.
That's what I'm talking about. Dave and Bruce making horror history. We all get to be a part of it. So cool.
It's true. Yeah, I've said that. And from a certain perspective, it is. You know, Olivia Hussey returning to her Final Girl roots is horror history. She is one of the first Final Girls. Her and Sally Hard. I mean, you could go back even further to Peeping Tom and Janet Leigh and Psycho. I mean, who knows? You probably can go, you know, way back than that. But traditionally, where we see kind of the beginning of the slasher subgenre, you know, in and around that time with Texas and Black Christmas. Yeah, she's one of the first. And it's pretty, I mean, there's a reason why a lot of the online major outlets were covering it. So
yeah, definitely.
Dave, if I don't say it, thank you so much for coming on and
my pleasure, Matt. Tonight, no problem.
Man. Seriously, it was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Anytime. If I'm available and I'm free and I think I can do it, no problem.
Right on. We
Go ahead.
We
Matt.
do have everyone's name in here.
All right.
And
yeah. So we're gonna go. So first is gonna be Halloween 78. Is that gonna be
first?
The first?
Is the number 1 winner, and
Okay.
the second will be our runner up.
All right.
And for the first place, you get a 1978 original Michael Myers mask, and runner-up is going to get a very nice Halloween Ends mask. The mask is sick, you know. So here we go. I'm gonna dig on in the bowl.
Halloween 78, Nick Castle. He's going to be at Scarefest in Lexington, by the way, and we'll be there.
Go. Oh, bye Polar is our winner
of the 78 Halloween mask.
1978 Polar. So this thing is gorgeous too. That is yours, Polar. That is, yeah, that's all.
Congratulations.
So yeah. And I actually believe I have the info to Michael to contact Polar to get this to her. So
okay,
yeah.
So that's an easy one for you.
Yeah, you're the winner, Polar. Nice mask.
Val's
And-
over there right now, like, "Grr."
The 1978's like, dude, that's one of my favorite masks. Like, how can you beat the OG? So
Right.
we'll go for runner up here, guys. Let's go for runner.
And there's a big comment from Val right there.
I'm
like,
gonna mix
no
it
way.
up, and here we go. All right, this one is Brittany Whitten.
Brittany Whitten.
Brittany,
Halloween ends.
You get the Halloween Ends mask, and
looks good.
I believe I do know how to get a hold of Brittany as well, so
Right.
I can get this one to her, because I don't know if she's still on. If you are Polar or Brittany, please let us know. But yeah, dude, that is a sick mask. Like,
It's great.
That's fantastic.
As far as mass produced mainstream masks go, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, I just appreciate you all. I do. And
I want to thank you, Matt.
If I can get back in a new way, yeah. My pleasure. Dave, we do have the we're a small horror group, but damn it, we are powerful, man. We
love it.
We have the best group.
I love it. I love seeing a community that supports each other and that steps up for each other, and I love it. I mean, yeah, it's just amazing to see. It's amazing to see. I can relate. So I think it's awesome.
Nice. This was a lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun.
But if we don't talk about Freddy, I'm never going to hear the end of it from everybody. I'm telling you.
All right, Freddy it up.
All right, so
guys, I will have to jet. But I've tapped out. But Michael, love you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Dave, thank you so much, man.
Thank you for having me.
Nice
on,
to
Matt.
meet you, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. You too.
So nice to meet you, and I hope you're on again. And enjoy your guys' Freddy talk. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm old.
He's the youngest one out of the three of us. I'm pretty sure of it.
Love you
you're
guys.
45. I'm 44.
I'm 40.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Wish I had that soundboard.
Take care, guys. Thanks again.
Take
See
care,
you, Matt. Take care. That's great.
But
That's a
yeah,
nice
so
guy.
yeah. Oh yeah, man. We have a great show.
It's great.
Totally different, and like he was saying, I can't say, enough about the people that hang out with us every weekend.
That's great.
It's fantastic, and as much respect as we can give to them. And Matt and I bounced around the idea about doing a raffle. He's like, well, I got a few things I can raffle, off, and I'm just like, dude, that's great. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
for you to do that.
I love it.
But if I don't do this now, so I'm going to let the chat start throwing some questions out there. I have a couple for myself.
Okay.
But we have quite a few big Nightmare fans in here. We've done reactions. We had Cecil and Robert on the show, talking about Dylan's new Nightmare.
I saw that. Yes.
We had a great time with them. They came to our 500 sub celebration, which went off the rails, but in the best way possible. But we always had a blast talking with them. But yeah, I'll open up the chat to any questions about Dave playing Freddy, or anything to do with Dylan's new Nightmare along the lines of what he can talk about. So
yes,
stuff like that. But I would like to ask you, just to get things started while we're waiting to come through with the delay in StreamYard and YouTube and everything. Going into that role, did you feel like any pressure for, playing that character? Not that you normally would in like a fan film, but knowing that, Miko was attached to it and that it was going to be a production, as good as, It's Me Billy quality wise, or at least,
No, I didn't actually. And I think there's a couple of, or a few reasons for that. I think the first is, like I said, I've spent 22 years in the entertainment industry, mostly in the world of professional voiceover. And so I am used to being in that environment with people, actors, you know, that kind of thing. And so it's right in my wheelhouse. I started actually as an on-camera actor in the early 2000s, and then I fell into the voiceover side around 2003 or 4. And so I do have experience. I have a diploma in acting. I've done theater and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you see me on my channel. I'm very, theatrical and that kind of stuff. And that's just part of my shtick. Not that now I say shtick, not that I'm lying or I'm being disingenuous with my thoughts or how I am, but I'm a performer, right? I amp it up. I'm like a morning show or something. You know what I mean? And so to be in that environment is I'm very comfortable with that. So when I heard that Miko was going to be in it, it was more, oh, that's awesome. Great. You know what I mean? Rather than, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? It was more just, oh, this is great. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's fantastic. Can't wait kind of thing. Right. So there was that. The responsibility of playing Freddy, as I've said many times on my own channel, this is as close to the real thing as you can get without it actually being the real thing. And so obviously Elm Street is in sort of limbo at the moment. We don't know who's got the rights or, what's going on. Haven't had a Freddy film in years, haven't had a good Freddy film in years. And so, this is, here I am about to play Freddy, but not with a mask on. I'm going to sit in a makeup chair for 5 hours every day, getting, foam latex put on my face, exactly what they did back in the 80s with Robert. So we're doing it that way. Not that there's anything wrong with some of the masks, but, we're going like old school and real deal stuff, which I thought was fantastic. Love it. Right. And then of course you're playing opposite Miko Hughes, who's a former Hollywood child star and a former Elm Street alumni, a former an Elm Street alumni who was in one of the films is what I'm trying to say. And so that's fantastic, right? That doesn't happen every day, right? You know what I'm saying? And then of course you got Vince involved as a producer, and you got this team together, and they're trying to do it like how Vince and and I have done our films, and so there's a level of credibility there and professionalism there. And so I wouldn't have said yes if that wasn't all in place. But so it made me more excited. Like you, of course, we're only a year apart. We grew up as young kids through the 1980s, and Freddy was one of the I don't know about you, but for me, he was one of the first things even though I'm a Michael guy, and I'm, how he was one of the first ones I got into for a lot of people, because Michael was kind of non-existent. He was there in 81, but then he didn't show up again until 88. And between those years, when you and I were young, very impressionable young kids, it was Freddy and Jason, Freddy and Jason, Freddy and Jason, Freddy and Jason. And I was no different. So I was very much Freddy, and I'm a huge unabashed Elm Street 2 fan, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. That's not a bandwagon I just recently jumped on. That's something I've always loved. The look of Freddy, the darkness, the dream, and or the dream sequence at the beginning of the movie. Obviously, I was too young to understand and get the homosexual sort of undertones there. But even now as an adult, I'm like, it's great. I love this movie, because of Dark Freddy, and I understand that there's the whole it doesn't make sense and all that. I get that, but anyway, so I digress. But so to step into this role, it was just exciting, because who gets this opportunity? Yeah, you can dress as Freddy and you can go to conventions and cosplay, and that's great. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying there's that, and then there's this, and I'm like, geez, this opportunity doesn't come along. Again, it's as close to the real thing without it being the real thing. It's a heck of an audition, right? If anybody's, you know what I mean? Who knows, right? You never know who's going to see it, right? Yeah. And so I took it very seriously. And but I wasn't nervous. It fit like a glove. I don't say that in a braggadocious way. I'm just being honest. People often ask me, did you watch the movies? Did you prepare? Did you, no. And I don't say that in like, nope, because I'm so fucking good. That's not the way I'm saying it. I'm saying, no, I didn't. It's the truth. I didn't, because I felt so comfortable. I don't know how to articulate. It felt like I was ready for this role for a while.
It was a part of your life for so long as a kid, man. Exactly. It's embedded in there at this point.
Exactly. And as a performer and as an actor, I understand what makes Robert's performance. It's not just the look, it's not just the voice, it's the theatrics, it's the way he is. Now it depends on which Freddy. Obviously, he's more theatrical in the more theatrical films, and he's less theatrical in 1 and 2. But there's still a whimsy there a little bit, and I understand that, and so it just fit like a glove. I felt very comfortable in the makeup chair, performing. Acting, it felt great. Thankfully, it felt great because there is always that thing in the back of your mind where you're like, oh God, am I going to be in the makeup for 5 minutes and then be like, oh shit, can I get this fucking thing up? You know what I mean? Like, what is it going to be like, right? No, that was comfortable too. So thank goodness, because you never know, right? So I felt very comfortable. Let's just say that.
Well, having Nora Hewitt, that's fantastic. I mean,
credible. Again, that's another part of the team, right? Where you're like,
yeah,
amazing. Yeah. Season 9 Face Off winner, but she's also worked on, Ghostbusters Afterlife and The Mandalorian. And I mean, the guy who made, I'm sure Cecil said this, but the guy who did Nora did the cast of My Face in 2019. Yeah. And then of course we had to wait a while because of the whole thing going on in the world. And then, the guy who did the mold, Nora could have done it, but she's very busy doing other things. So she outsourced the mold part to Mikey Rotella. Rotello, hopefully I'm saying that right, who designed the creature at the end of Smile, who designed the new Predator in Prey. I mean, the real deal. He's a Hollywood makeup guy. He's the real deal. Yeah. And then of course, Nora comes in and does all the makeup and the shading and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, when you're in the hands of these people,
right,
it makes your job a hell of a lot easier, Exactly. So when the makeup is on and I'm in the chair, I don't see Dave McRae anymore. And as an actor, I love that because then I can lose myself in the character.
That's great. I mean, wow. Yeah, it's with these horror movies, the first thing that we tend to look at is the look. Like the look has to pull me in first before I start seeing other things. And to be honest, when I saw the trailer for the first time, I basically had my jaw dropped. Like, holy shit. Like, look at Freddy. You know what I mean? Like that's freaking great. Yeah. Jerry and Val, they want to know, and I hate to be the guy, like, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? But they love the Freddy laugh, and they're just wanting to know if they could just hear a little bit about that.
The laugh. I'm trying to think how to set it up now. So it's just
oh,
there you go.
I'm sure that they're loving that. Dino would like to know, how long did it take to get into the full makeup?
The first day was about 6 hours, but that's because we were trying to find our way. Right. It was the first time Nora was applying it to me. On me. So what do I do? Do I do this first? Maybe we'll do, we're trying to find the rhythm. Right.
Yeah.
By the third day, we were down to like 4.5 hours. You know what I mean? So I would say, it's probably between 4 and 5 hours.
That's a pretty long time.
It is, but when you have Nora, Nora is a gem. I mean, she's so professional and fun and funny, and I think she's fantastic. So when you have her there doing your makeup, the time goes by pretty quick.
Yeah. Teresa, Mad Mom, is asking, can I ask who wrote the storyline for It's Me, Billy? It answered every question I had when I watched the original Black Christmas.
Wow. So it did. Okay. We did. Myself and Bruce Dale are the co-writers, co-directors, co-producers of the movie. So we wrote it. Our goal for that was to answer some lingering questions, but in that process also create new ones. So new ones are like, wait a minute, the grandmother's alive? How? Didn't they have a funeral? Why is she in the basement? What's going on? What's happening here? All that kind of stuff, right? That stuff that's going to be answered in chapter 2. And so, but yeah, it was our goal to sort of, again, it's a short film, so there's only so much you can do. If it was a feature-length film, we'd have all the time in the world to actually dive into that a bit more. But we wanted to sort of let people know, and you find out that Jess obviously kept the baby. She kept the baby because she believed that maybe the two of them survived that night for a reason. She had the baby. The baby grew up, had a baby, which was Sam. But unfortunately, the kid was, Jess's daughter was caught up in the shadow of her mother and all that kind of stuff. And well, you hear what Sam says on the porch there, right? So all that we needed to kind of fill in and kind of give some fans some context to what maybe was happening in that 50 years. So I'm glad that it satisfied you.
And I mean, not only, that's not the only person that said that tonight. You know what I mean?
Great.
So,
Yeah, that's
more
awesome.
kudos to you, and Bruce for delivering a story like that.
Yeah.
Man. It's just freaking fantastic.
For sure.
James is saying, he said that makeup must hurt when it was removed. It looked painful to me.
Funny enough, it hurt. It hurts because what they do is they glue it to your face, right? So at the end of the shooting day, Nora will come in, usually with an assistant, and they will start the process of removing. And the process of removing the makeup could take like over an hour. And so now I found that if I had a little bit of stubble, it actually went on easier, and it came off easier. And I think it's because the stubble is acting almost like it protects the skin. If I'm clean shaven, like I've just shaved, then it really pulls the cheek, right? But the stubble kind of helps a little bit. You'd think the stubble would hurt too because it's hair, but actually I found that the stubble helped a little bit. So it does pinch every now and then, but Nora's very gentle, so she's great.
One question I do have before I get to Dino's next question. So I was told that July 7th at Mad Monster in Glendale,
Correct.
Arizona.
Yes.
It's me, or I almost said it's me, Billy, too. Jesus. Dylan's
I'd
New
be like,
Nightmare.
wow, holy shit.
Like, quick filming, Dave. We're going to take care of that money
Wow,
for you. We're going to get right on that. Let me tell
I wasn't even a part of it.
Well done. It's great, Dave. Fantastic. Modern triumph, I'm telling you. That Dylan's New Nightmare will premiere, and that Robert Englund will be in the house that night. So
yeah.
So my question to you is, I've been told that you guys will have a table there, a booth. And that you may be in full Freddy gear for one night, maybe Friday night.
Yeah. So what's happening is the weekend of July 7th, 8th, and 9th at Mad Monster, Arizona, in Glendale, Arizona. It's the Mad Monster convention. Cecil will be premiering Dylan's New Nightmare on the Friday night. So the first night of the convention. I think the Friday, the convention goes from like 6 to 11 or something like that. And then it's all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Well, after the convention is over, so around 11 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, people will make their way, and you don't have to buy an extra ticket or anything like that. It's included in the cost of going to the convention that night. You will make your way to the screening room and watch Dylan's New Nightmare. And I will be in full makeup that night. Actually, my plane leaves Toronto at about 9 a.m. my time, because I'm in Eastern. And then I get to Arizona at about 10:30 in the morning, their time. And then I'll hang out for the day, and at about 6 o'clock that night, Nora and her wife, Rachel, are going to put me in the makeup at the table out on the floor.
Oh, awesome.
So if you're in Arizona, if you live near Glendale, or if you live, not too far away, and you want to come to the convention and meet me and meet everybody, and you want your picture taken with me as Freddy, you'll have to do that the Friday night. Because I will be there Saturday and Sunday, but I'll just be me. It's disappointing. I know.
Yeah, it's just Dave.
It's just me. But very cool. And yes, Robert Englund will be there. I'm not sure if Robert knows about this project at all. I mean, obviously Miko and Robert know each other, but I'm not entirely sure. Robert will be there. I don't know if Robert's going to attend the screening or not. I don't know. Maybe he will. I have no idea. That would be cool. I would love to meet Robert, of course. Ideally, if there's an opportunity to meet Robert as Freddy, I would like to meet Robert as Freddy. I think that would be really cool. If it doesn't work out and I have to meet him the next day, that's fine, whatever. But he will be there. But whether or not he knows about the project yet, and or will be attending the event, I have no idea. I don't know. But yeah, he will be. It's a stacked house. Kane Hodder will be there. Dick Warlock will be there. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's me and I'm in a Freddy gear and I know that Robert's there, I might just happen to walk by the table once or twice, you know,
I
and
might have to do it.
just
I
have
might have to
to,
do it.
hey, how's it
Yeah,
going? You know what I
that's
mean?
right.
Because that makeup's incredible. There's no way he's not going to be like, holy shit, look at this guy.
Yeah,
Whether
you
he
know, that's
knows or
it.
not.
That's it.
You know what I
That's it.
mean?
And that's it. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I hope it happens.
Dino is asking, how did it feel to put on the glove and makeup? Did you just transform into the character as soon as everything was on? That probably goes back to what you were saying about once you had the makeup on.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, the short answer is yes. So that first day, again, I was in the makeup chair for a while because we were trying to find our rhythm. And then when it was all done, everything was done. My, contacts were in, and I had the sweater on and everything. I'm sitting in the makeup chair in the makeup room alone. And Nora had left to go out onto the soundstage because she was doing something. And I was just sitting there. So I turned on my phone, and I will show everybody this once the movie's out, but I can't show you now before the movie. I'd love to, but Cecil won't allow me to. Cecil will kill me. But I turned on my phone and I just recorded it. I don't see Dave McRae when I look. Well, you saw it at the end of the that's what I see when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this, and I start going, doing this kind of stuff and looking around and playing and, all that kind of stuff. Right. And just playing with it, finding that rhythm, finding that Freddy. And when you look like that, it's, and I'm 5'8", about 152 pounds, 153 pounds. So I have a very similar physique as Robert did years, ago.
Mhm.
Robert might be a couple inches taller, I'm not sure, but certainly we're, it's in the ballpark, and he might be a bit broader than me, but anyway. So when you're standing there and you're in the outfit, like I'm like, I see Robert, but it's me, you know what I mean? And so it just naturally, it went there. I started, to play with the glove and all this kind of stuff. And I have all that. And they shot like hours of BTS stuff. And according to Cecil's BTS guy, there's going to be like a 90-minute BTS. Like
That's awesome.
it's incredible. So yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take two more questions. Then we're probably going to have to wrap this up because we've been on for about 2.5 hours at this point. But one comment though, by Teresa Stevens is saying, I can't wait for part 2. It's like waiting for season 3 of The Walking Dead to come out. Big Walking Dead fan. Let me tell you.
I love it.
She is
I love it.
A huge Walking Dead fan.
We can't wait either.
Val is saying, how was it working with the original Dylan, working with Miko?
Fantastic. Miko is a sweetheart. He's professional, on point, on time, takes his craft very seriously, great to work with, and even just great to shoot the shit with when things are done. We a lot of inside jokes were created that week, and lots of fun just hanging out and just talking shop or just talking life, you know what I mean? And so very professional and a lot of fun, and he's fantastic in it. I mean, he tapped into that craft that of course he had, as a child, and it's still there.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, so the last one we got comes from Dino again. If you were offered a chance to play Freddy in a full-length studio nightmare film, would you instantly take it, or would you have to read a script first?
Well, usually they don't offer you without you reading a script first.
Okay.
So I think you would probably get the script. I've said this, because people have asked me this. Would I jump at the opportunity to play Freddy for real, in a official canon Elm Street film?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would. I absolutely. I'd be silly to turn it down. If somebody came knocking or calling and said, "Hey, we saw this, we want to talk to you." And like I said, I mean, it's a hell of an audition. I mean, there I am in the makeup with Miko. I mean, who knows, right? You never know. So yes, I would. I would take that phone call. And in that phone call is where you would get, depending on how far along they are with the movie, with the writing of the film, that's where you would get certain details, right? So they would say to you like, well, we're planning on doing this. It's going to be a series. We're going to go back and we're going to do this, and then you know what I mean. So you would find you'd find enough details about whether or not it's a project that you can get excited about, even if a script isn't done. There's never going to be a phone call that's going to be like, Dave, you want to play Freddy? Yeah, sure. What's it about? Don't know. When? Don't know. What are you going to do? No idea. That's never going to happen.
Right.
They're going to have some sense of what it is, what they're doing. Is it a series? Is it Netflix? Is it Amazon? Is it a feature film? What is it, a prequel? Is it a sequel? Is, they have like maybe a log line or, whatever. Right. So I would get some information, and based on that information, I don't know, you think, God, you were stupid to turn it down anyway. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm a professional, and if it's something that really just didn't I could see myself going, I don't know if I don't think that's for me. I could see myself doing that. Right. But yes, in a generally speaking, I would jump at the chance to do it for sure. I mean, I'd be silly to turn it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they're going to have to find someone, preferably in the age range that, you're in.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
People go ahead.
I was just going to say, and Robert doesn't do it. I love Robert. I've never met him, obviously, but I hope I will in a few weeks. There's one thing I disagree with him on, of course, and that's the Kevin Bacon thing. Not because, I think he's too old. He's 65 himself. And so, by the time they get an Elm Street film going, and he's going to be in his 70s before we know it. And Kevin Bacon 30 years ago, maybe. I have often said that I think the sweet spot is somebody between 35, 45 or late 30s to mid 40s. And I don't just say that because I'm 44. I say that it could be anybody, and it needs to be an unknown actor, in my opinion. And I don't say that because I want it to be me either. I've often said that unknown actor doesn't mean amateur. It doesn't mean bad actor. It just means unknown. It has, he or she have not landed a role that has propelled them into a certain level of the pop culture zeitgeist that would make them a household name. But that unknown doesn't mean inexperienced or amateur. And I've often said that on my channel because I think sometimes that stigma, for whatever reason, he's an unknown. No, but that it could be fantastic, right? You know what I mean? So I do think it needs to be an unknown actor, somebody that isn't a household name or a star, that we can get lost in Freddy in, rather than Kevin Bacon as Freddy. I think that's important too. So yeah, hey, I check a lot of those boxes. I'm just saying.
Just attention. I check all.
There you go.
Boxes. That's awesome. Well, Dave, I want to thank you again. I posted your Indiegogo again.
Thank you very much for that.
Quite a few people that are showing interest in it. So I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't get a couple more pledges already or later on here when the stream's over.
I'd appreciate that so much, folks. Yeah, there's Blu-rays, there's hoodies and t-shirts, and everything goes into the campaign and to help make Chapter 2 a reality. And also, when you go there, click on the perk to see what else you get with it. Because sometimes you'll see the main perk, like you get a Blu-ray, but then you get also like your name in the end credits, you get a digital download package, all that kind of stuff. So there's other things that come with the perk too. But anything helps, folks. It would be greatly appreciated. This truly is fan funded. It's from the fans for the fans, and we appreciate anything that you can help out with.
Yeah, and anything we can do to help. Seriously, because we're invested in this project. We're invested in a lot of projects. This one, especially with you taking your time to come in here and talk through It's Me, Billy, excuse me, to talk through It's Me, Billy, man, that definitely meant a lot to us. We want to thank you, not just me, on behalf of me, Matt, and everyone in the chat. We want to thank you for taking your time to come and do that with us here today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me on. Thank you to everybody in the chat who watched the film and asked questions about Billy and Freddy and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll definitely come back for sure.
Yeah, please do. It was definitely hard at the beginning to manage the chat because they were going a mile a minute, and you know how that can be when people are excited. it's just like trying to, do all that stuff. It's just, oh man, I got a hold of it about right when we started It's Me, Billy. I was like, okay, I think I've
Right.
settled down at this
That's
point,
right.
and
That's
I
right.
caught a hold of it. But
For
yeah,
sure.
thanks again. And everybody else, we will be doing a video next week or a live stream next week. And I think that Matt and I are going to talk about early 2000s horror. So I'm definitely looking.
That's a good topic.
It is, but it's a tough one for me because the first 3 years of 2000, 2000, 2001, 2002, and 2003, I was in the military and I was deployed a lot. So there's a lot of things I missed, in that time frame where I'd come back and see, oh, they made another Texas Chainsaw at Walmart or something, when I had a few minutes. So I'm sure it'll be a little tougher, but I'm going to look into some stuff this week, see what I may have missed. I have a little bit of time, so maybe check some of those out, but it'll definitely be a good show. And Dave, again, I can't say it enough. Thank you, brother. And I'll talk to you for just a minute backstage once we get off of here. And everybody else, as always, I'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.